But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it?
Jailhouse tape on the night of the step.
Yeah, sir. Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe...
Of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Now, as part of our investigation, we spoke to Ari Ben Mashani, who is a former Israeli spy. He said on the record unequivocally that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Israeli intelligence operations, the Mossad, and running a classic honey trap operation. That is, lure people inside, record their activities, and learn about their peccadillos and use it to blackmail them.
We have to raise hell with the government. What can I do? Call your congressmen, call your senators, say get more agents on the child exploitation units now! Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. I'm one of your hosts, Michelle Leah. Will be joining us shortly for a very, very special report. MAGA is divided once again. People are leaving Donald Trump in droves over the Epstein files and the Epstein list. It's all that social media could talk about the last 24 to 48 hours. And in no uncertain terms, MAGA is imploding. Leah and I have been calling it out for months. We've been saying, y'all know what we've been saying. And everybody's been saying, but just wait. Just you wait. Just you wait. And Reagan's just you wait. Ta, ta, ta. You'll be sorry, but your tears will be too late. Ta, ta, ta. That's a little My Fair Lady for you. No, because there's no waiting. Because everybody kept saying, just wait. Trump is going to come through. The DOJ is going to come through. Our people are going to come through. Just the Epstein files. There are 1,800 million thousand hours, Pam Bondi says, of video footage of children being horrifically raped and trafficked and all the things. And it's all going to come out. And in 2024, Donald Trump was elected in part because Team Justice was going to swoop in and all of the names, they're going to start naming the names and the list is going to get laid out for everybody to see. And the truth will be made known because, of course, Donald Trump is the king of truth. And that's what we've been told. That's what you guys have told us so many times. Just wait, because when the Epstein files, when Pam Bondi gets a hold of those, when Dan Bongino gets a hold of it, when Kash Patel gets in there, man, he's going to rip the FBI to shreds. And he promised that when he got into the FBI, the only reason that he'd get in there is to tear it down. So it's what everybody said. And so here we are. And I was MAGA. Man, I had my MAGA hat. This is not a MAGA hat. This is just 1776. That's what we got to get back to. And I wanted to believe that all of that was true. And tonight we're going to get into this whole thing because it is, and I'll be honest, you know, I can rant and I can rave and I can rail against the Trump administration and the DOJ all day long. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm mad. But I'm not mad because the Epstein files we're being told, of course, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. We've got this video footage where the cells don't even look like the same doors. guys, I hope Leah's got that queued up for today. That we're literally, here, take this spoonful of lies and just swallow it. Little spoonful of sugar, help it go down, and you're a MAGA person, so just trust everything the administration says and you'll be fine. Don't look here. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtains. I'm sorry, you did that to the wrong people. Because MAGA people have a couple of bones that they hang on to, and I'm going to tell you, one of them is the Epstein list. And they ain't letting this go. But anyway, my point is, I am mad because I love Trump people. Okay, yes, I am not a Trump person anymore, but the Trump people are my people. We believe the same things. Those are my friends. Those are my family. Those are my brothers and sisters in Christ. Okay, and they believed to the core of their being that Donald Trump was gonna come through on this one thing. And they have been let down on a colossal scale. And if I was cruel, and if I was one of those other podcasters that y'all still tend to tune into because they will actually rah-rah Trump from time to time, if I was heartless, I would be sitting here going, I told y'all so. Didn't I say it? I said it the whole time, and you shouldn't have put your faith in Trump, and the fact that you're hurting is all your fault. No, I'm not saying any of that. I'm hurting with you. I'm hurting for you. You were lied to. You were manipulated. You were used for a vote. And that Epstein list and the truth behind all of that was dangled in front of you. And you were told, if you just vote MAGA, if you just vote Donald Trump, I promise you that this one thing, sorry, I'm trying to mute my phone, this one thing is going to be given to you. You're going to get it. And everybody believed, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get that Epstein list. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. Yes, I am. We're going to get that Epstein list. Everybody believed it through and through to the core of your being. And I'll be honest, even in the midst of my complete disillusionment of Donald Trump and the Trump administration, I still was like, man, but I hope they do this one thing. Not for my sake. I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't care like everybody else cares. And what I mean by that is the list schmissed. They're all guilty. You know, I had two hats in my hand and I tried them both on today. And one of them is a hat that I was given by Candace Keller. And it says that the devil is a liberal. And it looked cooler. It's camo-y. But I couldn't wear that hat tonight. You know why? Because I don't think he's just a liberal. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You people feeling me on this? He's not just a liberal. The devil's on both sides. Both sides. And tonight proves it. Tonight proves it. I'm going to play something real quick before Leah gets here. Well, not because we're waiting on her. It was very interesting. I had no idea that tonight was going to be the show that I thought we were just going to do a healing for the fractured soul, like we do every Tuesday night. And Leah comes to me and she says, Michelle, we have to do a special on Epstein because it's all the internet can talk about right now. And I said, okay. This afternoon, a video showed up in my feed of Leah going scorched earth, literally saying we've got to raise hell, or AZE, over child sex trafficking. And I thought to myself, it showed up in my memories, and I thought, you know what, that's a really good one. I'm going to reshare that. So I went and I downloaded it. I actually turned the music down because I wasn't happy the first time I shared it. The music was a little bit loud. Turned the music down, re-downloaded it, and I uploaded it several places today. And you may have seen it at the end of the intro there. I'm going to play the whole thing right now. Because this is how we need to feel about kids being sex trafficked. And I'm telling you something here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And if this causes you to not watch my show, okay. Donald Trump doesn't feel the way that Leah feels in this clip about sex trafficked children. He calls Jeffrey Epstein a creep. But he never calls for justice for the sex trafficked victims. Yeah, he played, I'm wearing my Freedom for the 2 million Sound of Freedom shirt. And he had the video played like at Mar-a-Lago with Tim Ballard and Jim Caviezel and Big Deal. It got votes, made people feel good for half a second, but Trump has done zero. Oh, just wait, Michelle. He's going to. But now we're being told that Jeffrey Epstein unequivocally killed himself. There's nothing to see here. Keep moving on. And like that clip that I just played of Donald Trump, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? We got all this stuff going on. Yeah, we do have a lot of things going on. But you, in the midst of all this stuff that's going on, decided to have your Department of Justice come out and say Jeffrey Epstein unequivocally killed himself, and there's no list. You decided to do that. Your Justice Department decided to do that. We didn't. We've been waiting, just hoping that y'all would do something. But instead, you gave out little binders and little folders. And all the little podcasters came out and they held them up and, ooh, look, we've got something. And there was nothing there. You can't tell me that this guy just came and went and there's nothing there. There's nothing to see here. I'm sorry. So let's play this. We're going to play this. Leah getting all riled up and angry.
And how many more kids are in the country? Because that little boy that I saw was in America. Okay, he was in America. And like, we spent, and this is what gets me angry.
Here it comes.
And this is what it should make you angry. Those FBI agents spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours to find grandma walking through the Capitol, but they took people off of the child exploitation units to go find grandma walking around the Capitol. These people are literally working for Satan. And they want to go around and tell you that January 6th was the worst thing since 9/11 when this is the worst thing ever. There is nothing ever worse than harming a little child. Nothing. And we have the money, we have the resources, and we're spending billions of dollars in Ukraine for them to bomb each other to smithereens when we should have every single federal agent stopping this, and we could and we can because it's all online and there's IP addresses. And you can find them.
You know what they told Tim Ballard? This is in the movie. That going outside of the country to protect these children was outside of United States jurisdiction.
Oh, really? Oh, really? You mean we have United States citizens who are making this porn, who are on video making this porn, but these children are in different countries? Well, we're in a different country. We're in all kinds of countries. We are doing war. We are in every country in the world. We have built a military base in Poland. Don't tell me that we can't rescue these children. And we have to raise hell with the government. What can I do? Call your congressman, call your senators. Say, get more agents on the child exploitation units now. Stop sending money to Ukraine. You better have every agent in the FBI on the child exploitation unit yesterday.
What if we started a campaign of calling every single representative in our state and federal legislature, telling them to stop funding for Ukraine and to take that money and put it towards ending child sex?
What if we said, stop doing your stupid searches for January 6th. I think it's a pile of poop when there's a kid being raped. I don't care about people who scaled the Capitol wall.
So lately, I've got a question.
I care about a child being raped. And yes, there is a moral. You make judgment calls every day. Do you not?
Yes, you do. That's the wrong one. You make judgment calls every single day. Leah?
It's me, or are we really loud?
It's probably just, you're bumped. You got turned up. Leah?
I got a show tonight.
Leah's got a show for us. I mean, back us back out here. We are way too zoomed in. There we go. Did you hear my intro?
I did. I heard it all the way. I think the neighbors heard it.
The neighbors heard it. I ain't playing anymore. It's not funny to me anymore. This whole Trump is going to save the day. It's not funny to me anymore. And I'll tell you something else. And this woman's probably not in our chat, or no, excuse me, probably doesn't watch our show. I don't know how she ended up following Resistance Chicks. Okay. But someone left a comment because Leah made a post I don't remember what it was about. And she came back and Leah had commented back and forth with her and she's called us libtards. And
such a mature thing to say.
And then she came back and she's like, you're a turncoat. And I'll be honest, I wanted to make a whole post about this, but instead I'm going to tell y'all something. I sat there and I was mulling, because this happens. When you guys leave comments, you just need to know. Sometimes I sit there and I think about what you said and what I'm going to say back at you. And then I never say anything. I'll make a whole post. I'll make a whole video on this. And then it just doesn't happen. But I dwell on it probably too long. And I thought about this turncoat ridiculousness. Mm-hmm. I'm the turncoat. I'm the turncoat. Excuse me. I'm the turncoat because this is what I wanted to say to Little Miss whatever her name was. My coat. Okay? That phrase comes, I don't know where it comes from originally, but when I think of it, I think of the Revolutionary War. Okay? I think of a Benedict Arnold. I think of somebody going and fighting for the other team.
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to pull guys out of a foxhole that have had legs blown off.
Yeah.
And the leader that we elected is now cozy and super best friends with the redcoats. And the redcoats are now playing commercials. They're now touting him. They're now going to his inauguration. All of the redcoats just lined up with their little busty bralette wearing ridiculousness, girlfriend, fiancés. The entire, Silicon Valley tech got a front row seat. They're all red coats, and they all got a front row seat to the inauguration. And Donald Trump didn't even wear a red tie to his own inauguration. He wore blue and red spots. And I'm the turncoat. I'm the one that have been fighting for babies, for the right to life, for marriage to be between a man and a woman. I'm the one that has been fighting for Republican, air quotes, values. I'm the one that has been against this big giant technocracy. My views and Republican views of my fellow Americans have not changed, and I'm still fighting for those things.
I fight for things, not people.
Let me tell you why I'm being told that I'm a turncoat. Because for some people, the war isn't against good and evil. It's just fighting for people that support Donald Trump and fighting for Donald Trump and people that don't. And it doesn't matter who comes alongside or how the views change or what the mission is. The mission can change all day long. Mm-hmm. As long as we're fighting for Trump. Mm-hmm. So no, I'm sorry, Little Miss, whatever your name is. I'm not the one that has put on the coat of the enemy. Donald Trump is, and I'm sorry I said it. Not sorry. Okay? You call me a turncoat. I'm the one that's been fighting for my country. Obviously not like giving my life like our fellow, our servicemen and women. Okay? But at least speaking out, speaking truth, getting demonetized, getting deplatformed, getting ridiculed, right and left.
Should we talk about Epstein?
Do you have is your show ready? Because I've been running the show without you. Are you ready?
I have everything.
All right, let's go. Okay, let's rock and roll. I'm ready to go.
Let's roll this popsicle stand deal going on. Okay, so in case you didn't know, Donald Trump had a press conference today, and I think that's the first clip we should play.
Okay.
Michelle, that would probably be you bringing that up. I don't think Epstein really needs an introduction, but in case you live on Mars, Jeffrey Epstein
is that the one we want up? Get me up what you want up.
You want to bring it up, the one I sent you. Can you bring it up from your clips that I sent you? The one from Donald Trump?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Let me know when you're ready for it.
I'm ready for it.
Okay.
I'll talk while you bring it up, or you bring it up and it's ready. So Jeffrey Epstein is supposedly the most prolific sex trafficker the world has ever seen.
I'm gonna need you to move your chair over and get close to that mic, please.
But he has sex trafficked to no one,
apparently,
according to the DOJ. Now,
right.
I did a little video on this in the Garden yesterday, but there is more to this. It's highly disturbing. Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, and
As soon as I open this up, it's going to play. So finish your thought.
even Donald Trump has said, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And now they're saying that there's nothing there. There's no there. So I'm going to play this clip that happened today in the White House.
Ask the Attorney General a question too, President.
Sure.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure. If I
Pam, could I just interrupt? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively, the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
That's it on Epstein. Well, I've got a lot of it on Epstein. Michelle, if you could bring up these the tabs, we're ready to roll. And I want to play the first one here. This is Kash Patel on Benny Johnson. Everybody is telling us there's a list. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell is serving 20 years in jail for trafficking minors to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, one of the young women, Virginia Guffield, is that how you say it? Guffrey? She died recently. She was hit by a bus. And she...
Did you retweet that?
Yeah, but it should be here.
It's not.
It's at the bottom of all of my things.
Okay. Well, let me try. Did you keep bringing up tabs after you told me you had them all up already?
I just did.
Okay.
Just did it.
All right.
So she said that she was trafficked by other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Epstein supposedly has thousands of child porn videos and images just for himself. It was just him and Ghislaine. Guys, this goes deeper, and it's not a coincidence that the Department of Justice, they didn't even sign it, nobody signed it, puts out this memo. And for all of you conspiracy theorists about Israel, tonight is your night. Okay, tonight's your night to get your popcorn out, to say on one aspect in one area, you are right. You know why? Because it's not even hidden that Jeffrey Epstein had the former head of military intelligence living with him. This is not a conspiracy theory. He was an asset of Mossad and the CIA. And for Pam Bondi with her Botox plastic surgery, Stepford Wives face out there to say, oh, I have no knowledge if Jeffrey Epstein was an asset or not. I'll have to look into that. And you want to tell me that he didn't kill himself? You want to tell me ain't nothing to see here?
You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, you know, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if you release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word, or whoever that guy is, as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything. But how are you going to reward the FBI with a new headquarters building after their illegal surveillance on Donald Trump continues with a reauthorization of FISA, and we can't even get basic documents out? This is why America hates Congress.
And this is why America hates you.
It's going to start hating you, Mr. Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire. Now, I want to actually go to Tucker Carlson, who has the greatest intro I have seen in a long time.
I never thought that I would be offering an apology to Jeffrey Epstein. I think of all the times I've maligned that guy, all the times I'm accused him of crimes, of blackmailing people, of trafficking children to powerful figures around the world on behalf of global intel services. And then I learned yesterday from Attorney General Pam Bondi that's totally untrue.
Yes, yeah.
The guy killed himself after 36 days in prison for no reason. He was a billionaire. He had no clients. He'd done nothing wrong other than get like naughty massages 20 years before. And the guy killed himself, another pointless death. And then his best friend, former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, doing 20 years in prison for no crime. There are no victims.
Yes, it's a victimless crime. They're obviously persecuted by the state.
Yes.
They're political prisoners, really. It's The Hague should come in and do an investigation, or we're watching one of the most systematic government cover-ups of all time.
So we either all owe Jeffrey Epstein an apology over his dead body. Not done yet. I'm going to play a little more of that. Okay. Or this is the greatest cover-up known to mankind.
Yeah.
The Israeli prime minister is visiting Washington
For the third time
this year. Why exactly? You know, can we go over that? Last time I checked, this is a country we do about $52 billion in bilateral trade with, equivocal to like Singapore and Chile. I don't remember the last time that Chilean or Singaporean leaders were in Washington for 3 times in the last 6 months, and to who we give $3.3 billion to. Switzerland. These are all countries I love, by the way. I visited all 3 that I just listed. I love them. Would they serve?
And Israel. I think did you go to school in Israel?
That's right. I did 6 weeks in Israel. It's a great country. I like it a lot, but it's not about that. This is about my country. And so watching this all just get perverted and then used and hijacking our government is just particularly offensive to me, not only just as an American, but I feel particularly not only deceived by the people like the FBI director and the deputy director, Dan Bongino, but the attorney general who went on camera after assuming her office on the White House lawn. These are supposed to mean things, and said thousands of victims. We have the client list. We have the flight logs. She held a little press conference, whatever event with so-called influencers in which she gave them the Epstein files, an infamous photo that was released. It turned out that binder actually had redacted information in it, which was already public, just to demonstrate how they were turning they're turning the White House effectively into a performative show and making,
redacted information that's public already.
Light of the fact that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of underage victims. And it's just not the victims, it's the fact that it extends to the highest levels of the elite, the transatlantic elite, and possibly even beyond that, from some of the richest men in our country presidents of the United States, former prime ministers of Israel. We're talking here about Bill Gates, Leon Black, Leslie Wexner, the richest and most powerful people in the world, the Nobel Committee, the scientific, the community, Harvard, MIT, the tentacles through which this operation had its hands in and stretches all the way back to the 1980s. It is one of the most disgusting intelligence operations, I think, in United States intelligence history, rivaling some of the things, eventually that led to the death of President Kennedy. And the thing is around this time is just like Kennedy, we all know the truth. We know that this document released by the Trump administration is complete bullshit. And I guess that maybe, just like with the Kennedy assassination, they expect us to just get over it in a period of time. And I genuinely think it's incumbent on anybody who was either supportive of the president, any United States citizen, to say no. We demand absolute and total transparency on this case, and particularly of these government officials. Do not use your platform to enrich yourself on these podcast platforms and constantly talk about Epstein and the Epstein files, eventually assume office, change on a dime, and expect us to trust you. That is not how this works. No. And in particular, in that document, I think it's one of the most disgusting documents ever released by the United States government, because it said there was no blackmail, we're not releasing this information. Kash Patel has this new line about how we're not going to re-victimize women. Ask the Epstein victims themselves. They have been begging for this information to come to light, specifically to implicate the powerful men that victimized them and through which they were, they were basically used for trafficking purposes to ensnare them in this high-level U.S. intelligence, Israeli intelligence operation, probably run in conjunction. And the trail of this entire thing just it enrages me. It actually enrages me as an American.
I don't think you're alone. And I do think, as someone who voted for the president, campaigned for the president a lot, I'm not attacking the president, but I think even people who are fully on board with, the bulk of the MAGA agenda are like, this is too much, actually.
Yes.
I'm saying that with love, and I hope that they're listening, because I think this threatens to blow up the whole thing. But let's just back up a little bit and just pick at some of the inconsistencies here. So you're saying that Pam Bondi said on camera, we have a client list.
On the White House lawn.
I've seen the client list.
Yes.
And then yesterday she's saying there's no client list.
There's no client list. And there was no systematic blackmail. That actually might be the most preposterous line in the document.
But it doesn't make any sense. So they've said that there were thousands of young people, in some cases minors, underage children, sexually victimized. Are they saying that Epstein single-handedly had sex with all? Because actually, for whatever it's worth, I don't think anyone I've never seen anyone make the claim that Epstein had sex with anybody.
Yes, that's right. Well, a lot of these allegations revolve around group activities, and they around masseuse and being, look, the way that Dershowitz and others would claim it is I kept my underwear on and it was all very above the board massage information. There's that famous photo of Bill Clinton in the airport terminal with one of these young victims who herself says she was a victim of the Epstein entire machine. So you're exactly right. It's for these thousands of women, were they victimized entirely by Ghislaine Maxwell and by Jeffrey Epstein? Because, by the way, that's not even what the Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein court documents and other things that we already knew that were in the public information. That's not what they say. That's not what the testimony of the victims of these people say. And so, again, even this client list thing, and I do think people can go down the rabbit hole too much and think that there is, as you know, there's no ledger as had sex with so-and-so and we, because of that, supported Israel. That's not how it works.
So the term client list itself is misleading.
It's misleading because really what we want is a full list of the victims, of the people who flew on the flight logs. But the most important is the money. And I think a lot of people actually miss that in the Epstein story. Jeffrey Epstein came to power largely because he worked at Bear Stearns and effectively was a high finance money laundering expert. That's effectively what we can learn from his background. That's how he came involved with Leon Black. Leon Black was one of the most powerful men in New York. This is the head of the Apollo Group. He paid him $170 million through various shell corporations for tax advice. And when he was caught doing that, he was said, actually, it wasn't even useful because all the tax advice was actually in the public domain. So what? Leslie Wexner in the 1991, I believe, signed full power of attorney over to Jeffrey Epstein. He was one of the richest men in America. I think he was the richest man in Ohio at that time. Jeffrey Epstein becomes the head of the Wexner Foundation, funnels some $2.5 million to Ehud Barak, the former former Israeli prime minister. I'm putting these things out there because I want people to know that the money is an integral part of the operation, and to the extent that the sex trafficking and all of that is linked, they are fused together because they were used primarily by the intelligence community. Both Epstein was a conduit of high stakes money laundering for things like, you know, not Iran-Contra specifically, but let's say like funneling arms from Israel to Iran. This was also how he met eventually Robert Maxwell and became ensnared with his daughter, Ghislaine Maxwell. The money laundering is actually more key to his intelligence
arms
rules.
From Israel to Iran?
Well, this was a key part of the Maxwell story. Robert Maxwell is a very sketchy character, Ghislaine Maxwell's father. People focus on the tabloid. That's actually not all what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is the fact that he's this Czechoslovakian Orthodox Jew who like escapes from the Nazis. He eventually becomes a highly decorated soldier. Actually, I think he won the second highest medal in the UK for his operations during World War II. From that point forward, becomes very, very enmeshed with the Zionist community inside of the UK and propping up the newly formed state of Israel. From that point forward, he basically serves as a high stakes, like almost an entity in and of itself. That's the way that Daryl Cooper has described him, is like a sovereign wealth fund almost, which with together brokers all kinds of cutout deals, between Israel and Iran. And actually, Epstein himself, when he was just 28 years old, flew on a private jet, I believe, to the Pentagon with somebody who we know is directly linked to these, previous intelligence operations and funneling money and weapons into many of these conflicts. So this stretches back decades, and that's a very, very important part of the story. So please just do not tell me that there's no part of a systematic blackmail campaign. It's so preposterous, and it actually just makes me want to tear my hair out. And I guess the only good news is that, just like with the Kennedy assassination, we do all know the truth. The Kennedy assassination broke this country. I really believe that. I know you do as well. But it broke something even more fundamental and opened up what they called the credibility gap under the Johnson administration, where prior to the 1960s, Americans trusted their government. It was actually a beautiful thing. I mean, it was bad in some ways as well. We were taken advantage of by the Dulles brothers and a lot of other horrible things they were doing in the 1950s. But it was beautiful in the sense of social and of civic trust. Yes. And something was broken with that, with the Kennedy assassination. And then it was extended, of course, into the war in Vietnam. And we've never been the same since. And all the Trump administration, elected on the backs of a lot of these people who want more transparency in government, saw a lot of this corruption, to just turn around and do the same thing. It's just too much. It's too much for me, and I think it's too much for a lot of other.
I want to pause right there because I want to hit this comment from Off and On in the chat, because I think that this is really important, and I want to bring this element in here because we're looking at several different things. Mm-hmm. So when he mentioned the young woman in the airport with Bill Clinton, she's the one that, quote unquote, allegedly just recently committed suicide after having claimed that she was not suicidal and that if she kills herself, she didn't kill herself. Okay. And so we've got that aspect of it that just happened. Then this comment from Off and On is so perfect. Epstein and Diddy both created an industrial scale blackmail operation, control of many powerful, influential people. Now it is a white hat managed for purposes. So the reveal is dragged out to milk the use of it, in my humble opinion. I'm glad that you brought up P. Diddy, because we have not had a chance to talk about that on our show yet. By the time our Friday news program comes around, it'll probably be old news. So I
don't think that was... Virginia Giuffre is the one with Prince Andrews.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. She's not the one with Bill Clinton. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Virginia Giuffre that killed herself. Okay, supposedly. Thank you for double checking that. They look very similar. It was like they had a type. The young blonde thin girls with the same face. So we were all excited when Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy P. Diddy, was arrested, and it looked like legit
he was going to be
held accountable for this stuff, because the stuff that came out
was so
atrocious, and so many people in Hollywood kind of tongue in cheek laughed about it, but they all knew, and I can guarantee you that there were so many people that were shaking in their boots. What's going to come out about me as a result of this. You know, I think of Usher, right? Because Usher is a huge part of this. And when I was a kid, I don't follow these people. I haven't followed them since I was like 15 years old. So this goes back a minute. But when I was a kid, Usher was what we considered one of the clean singers. He was supposed to be good. Right. He worked with kids. Of course, they always work with kids, right? And then it comes out, actually, you know, he's like a part of this whole thing. So the reason why I wanted to read your comment and the reason why I wanted to address this, and then I want to go to the Virginia Guffield thing, is because we are seeing a systematic cover-up in the Justice Department of the United States by the Trump administration of sex trafficking. The one people that we thought. So now you're telling me, oh, Michelle, the Sean Combs trial was a jury trial. There's no way that anything could have happened in there that it was the jury. I've seen every daggum Hollywood movie where there's jurors in there that are planted. Are you kidding me?
So I want to be clear on something just so you guys understand. James Comey's daughter lost the P. Diddy case. She didn't lose the case. She dropped the case on purpose. Okay? Maureen Comey. She was also a prosecutor at the Jeffrey Epstein trial.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, really?
Oh, really?
So Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for her own safety. She decided that that's where she wanted to go. Okay? She had a choice. You can be killed or you can shut up and go to prison. So she decided to shut up and go to prison. She's happy that she's alive there, and she hopes that when she gets out, I'm sure, that she can continue to live some sort of life. She knows what she did. Okay. It's probably like some sort of soul cleansing thing for her in prison. James Comey was the cover up. He was the DOJ, FBI bleach bit. Okay. It wasn't just that they got rid of everything before the Trump administration showed up. Because the guys and the people that covered up were still there. It's that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, for whatever reason, have had to toe the line because, and I've seen this with Robert Kennedy Jr. There's this knighthood, brotherhood thing that you have to like sign on to, which is now that you're head, this is what they do. They pull you aside and they say, we can't have you at all saying anything negatively against the organization that you now lead, because then now it's on you. And there must be some sort of blood ritual that goes on, because that's what made Robert Kennedy Jr. say, we are promoting this vaccine, and we're promoting vaccines, and we're promoting measles. Because when you sign on, you have to sign, I'm sure, something that says, now that you're head, everything that goes on, everything that's said, you don't get to throw anybody previously under the bus. You don't get to say, I'm here now, but they messed this up before me. And that must be something that you have to sign on to, which is why if before, whatever you're at, whatever level you're at when you join, that's what you have to continue doing. Okay.
What do you mean by that? Give an example.
So if the FBI has cleared the room and you walk in and they've got a bunch of stuff stuck behind a closet, but the room is clear, then you have to say the room is clear. You're not allowed to say there's stuff behind the closet.
Okay.
So that's because now you're part of the club.
Yeah.
And the club protects the club.
Yeah.
And the FBI, if you're the head, I guarantee you, they sign a thing that says, you're now the head. You can't speak against the very thing that you run.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything that's gone on, you're now in control. You're now The buck has stopped with you. You don't get to come out and say, hey, we're going to reopen this. Hey, we're going to reinvestigate this. Hey, the guys before us. No. There are, they sit you down. It's like Men in Black. There are no guys before you. You're now part of
No, you're 100% you're part of the system, but it's worse than just not opening up old cases. It's worse than just not saying anything against the people that were before you, okay? Because RFK Jr. is coming out telling people now that it's okay to get the mRNA shots. Mm-hmm. He's coming out and saying, yeah, wear wearable digital. That's brand new.
That's brand new.
Okay. So when it comes to the Jeffrey Epstein file list, that was something that was brand new. It was like, oh, look, we're now seeing these files. And it's like, and that was new-ish that they could have just, said, hey, this is something, nobody's dug this deep and here it is. So I'm going to guarantee you guys that the reason why no list is being revealed and the reason why Jeffrey Epstein, quote unquote, didn't kill himself is because there are a boatload of people that are on that list that Trump has already made deals with. Now, one more thing I want to address, and I want to do this in the best way possible. Please, Rachel K on Facebook, don't leave and receive this in love. I am going to use you as an example, but I love you. Please feel this love, okay?
Can you feel?
She says, the love. I believe he is 2 steps in front of them. I believe they are getting the reaction out of the people that they want. They want the left to be interested. It is people like you who I love that I'm mad at these people because of you. Because you mean well, and you love God, I'm assuming, and you love your country, and you love the victims, and you want justice, and you want to think the best.
So you'll come up with something.
Have you under a spell. Mm-hmm. I've been under spells before. I was under a spell for a whole year last year. Okay? Mm-hmm. About one person who shall not be named. Everybody knows who it is because we haven't done our show on it yet. We're going to. So I know what it is to want to believe the best of somebody and to think that they are who they have told us that they are.
Even when their actions
that. And so you'll be like, but no, it's 4D chess, it's 5D chess, it's 6D chess. He's all these steps ahead of them. Here's why that has worked up until this specific thing. There's nothing left. It's all right here. Mm-hmm. There's no one to beat. There's no one that they need the left to be like,
the left's not holding back the Epstein files.
The DOJ. We own Congress. We own the Senate.
Right.
We own the White House. We own everything. We have it all. Mm-hmm. There's no 5D, 10D chat. There's no, these people, these corrupt people that Trump would maybe need to play 5D chess against and outsmart are the people that that pre the election of 2024 and post-election 2024, Trump has made deals with, and they're on the list. And he knew that they were on the list, and he's okay with it. There's no more need for 4D, 5D, 6D chess, especially with this case, because we have everything that we need. And they are lying to us about it because it is an inconvenient truth that we're asking to know.
All right, let's go over some of these.
I love you.
I do too. All right, Emma Robertson says, of course, the government of Israel does not want the American people to know that they ran a pedophile sex trafficking ring with Jeffrey Epstein for 20 years to blackmail our politicians using American children. But hey, I think the cat is out of the bag at this point. And Jack Maxey said, sadly, Trump is our problem. I want you to hear Sidney McCain. This is John McCain's wife in 2020, talking about Jeffrey Epstein. This is John McCain's wife. Nobody goes in higher circles in Washington than John McCain and his wife.
It hides in plain sight. Epstein was hiding in plain sight. We all knew about him. We all knew what he was doing. But we had no one that was, legal aspect that would go after him. They were afraid of him. For whatever reason, they were afraid of him. All of a sudden, someone said, BS. We're not afraid of you anymore on what you're doing. It's not only wrong, it's illegal, it's, all those things. It's like a house of cards now. It's going to start tumbling, believe me. And these guys,
Really,
if
Cindy?
they don't leave the country, number one, they're going to get caught. And they're
really?
And they, not only will they get caught, but they're going to be made examples of.
Really?
And that's exactly what we should be doing.
Cindy McCain knows people that probably need to leave the country. She said they're going to be coming out. This woman is not a conspiracy theorist. She knows the people.
Yeah. Okay, is she still alive?
Yes.
I want to know. Hey, Cindy, it's time to start talking. You ready for the next one?
Emma Robinson. The Epstein files have been disappeared by the Trump administration because Epstein was a honeypot operation for Israel with help from CIA and MI6. This means our intelligence services have blackmail on our politicians and elites. That's why we live in a banana republic. Remember, the prosecutor of the Jeffrey Epstein civil case in 2008 was told that Jeffrey Epstein was an asset of the government, and that's why he should go easy on him. That is in court documents.
Unbelievable.
We want to know, and here we have Benjamin Netanyahu today or yesterday in the White House, 11:15, the White House tweets out, fight, fight, fight. And I say, who are we fighting? Are we fighting to have illegal immigrants deported? No, we're not doing that. Are we fighting to expose the pedophile rings? No, we're not doing that. Are we fighting to end the Federal Reserve? No, we're not doing that. What are we fighting for? To have your kids have a $5.5 billion deal in Qatar with radical Islamists? Trisha Hope says, today is July 8th, 2025, and our president, Donald Trump, chastised a reporter for asking about the failed Epstein case, a case where thousands of children were raped and trafficked. Now, I want you to hear
She says today MAGA died.
I want you to hear what she has to say.
Where should I go from here to find that?
Hold on. I can just read it. You can go to her thing. You can click on it. I retweeted it out, but she says something really pertinent today. Let's see if I can find it. Well, the one thing she said was the way President Trump tried to humiliate that reporter for asking the question all of us wanted answer to. Trump acted like it came out of nowhere. The DOJ put out a memo this week. He asked about the memo. Oh, we're talking about that still? He stepped over Bondi like she was a twig. He was going to set the tone and let others know what happens if you ask that question. Here. I want to read this. You know what? I'm going to let Michelle read it because it starts with
her feed.
Yeah, it's a little bit lower than I've been to 42 Trump rallies.
Oh,
right
wow.
there. Oh, click on that. Yeah.
Okay. I have been to 42 Trump rallies. After the first impeachment, I drove to D.C. and spent 2 weeks walking the halls of Congress to encourage Republicans to support Trump. I sat in hearings and I supported President Trump, and I was there the night he was acquitted. After the 2020 election was stolen, I went to see 2,000 Mules. I was livid at the lack of action. I contacted Dinesh D'Souza and told them I wanted to deliver copies to Republican members of Congress. They donated 200 copies. I went with a team of 4 to DC and personally hand-delivered each one. When it became clear January 6th was a setup, I started helping J6ers. I met with members of Congress on their behalf. I was able to get a donation of 435 American Gulag Chronicle books to deliver to Congress. Myself and a team organized by Trumpertarian delivered 535 copies to every single member of the House and Senate. I worked for the last 3.5 years to help free J6ers. I organized Trump events. I became a state delegate and then a national delegate. I recently made a donation to the Smithsonian in honor of J6ers. I say all of this to tell you I am done. President Trump's lack of concern for the Epstein victims and his callous response to the reporter's question ends my relationship with him. I will not support a man who denies justice to the victims, who in this case are children, and mocks the question.
There you go. I want you to play this now. This is Alina Habba on Piers Morgan in February. Who's telling the truth?
Alina is Trump's lawyer.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names, that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable. Let's talk about the reverse. I believe in accountability. So you have to now go through your process. Now, I won't say they're guilty until they go through their time in court. But again, now it's time for accountability. We have seen for so many years, Pierce, in this country, many investigations, subpoenas, testimonies in Congress, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a general frustration with accountability. We take it halfway, we don't take it home. And I really believe that now with Cash and Pam, there will be accountability. But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs.
Oh, in this case, it's incredibly disturbing. We have names.
We have flight logs.
And people are going to have their day in court.
I'm not going to say, this is her. I'm not going to say whether they're guilty or not. They're going to have their day in court, but we've got all this stuff. Hang on a second. One of two things are true. One of these two things are true. Either she is lying through her teeth there, and she knows nothing about the Epstein case, or she knows exactly what she's talking about.
Michelle, skip one and go to this. Journalist Nick Bryant explains why the federal government actively covers up the Jeffrey Epstein case. This is on the Sean Ryan show.
Blackmail plays an integral role, and I've been at this for 21 years, and Epstein had cameras in all of his homes. I mean, Epstein was definitely a blackmail artist. And the government wants to make sure that does not come out, that a huge part of our political system is predicated on blackmail. And especially if that dark, malignant corner of the intelligence that is using blackmail against our politicians and other people, if they were using children, I mean, that would make the American people erupt. So that's why that Wikipedia page is locked down. And that's why this is important. This is, for that dark corner of intelligence, this is Omaha Beach. They're not going to give an inch, because this is the last thing that they want out. And it's amazing how the Epstein scandal has been covered up. If you look at all the victims and all the perpetrators and all the procurers involved in the Epstein network, I mean, we're talking and the people that facilitated it, like the pilots and like Epstein's house managers and the cooks and everybody else. We're talking scores and scores of people, and no one's been indicted except for Ghislaine Maxwell. And that really shows that our government, unfortunately, wants to stop it there. Our government does not, although Americans do, I think, are coming around to the belief that Epstein was taking part in blackmail, or a lot of them, it doesn't make sense. Why is our government aiding and abetting child trafficking? Unless they're protecting some very powerful people and a political process, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
They are protecting very powerful people. I want to show you guys. I wasn't screen sharing. Darn it.
Oh.
Well, you heard it. Sorry, I didn't see the comment there because I was busy looking. This is what that guy looks like. You heard his voice, and you know what Sean Ryan looks like. So here's the guy that was just now talking. I'm so sorry about that. But I wanted to show you, I didn't see the chat because I was pulling this up because I wanted to, these were kind of funny little memes on, Leah did a video yesterday, and it's Tom Hanks from Forrest Gump, and says, and just like that, there was never an Epstein client list. But this one right here is my favorite meme. It's Pam Bondi using the Men in Black little forget everything that you saw. And she says, what list? Like, that's where we're at right now.
So let's go to the Babylon Bee here. Michelle, why don't you read it? I'm sure you can read this in Babylon Bee-esque. Now, remember, it's like satire.
Real. It's satire. But Leah doesn't like it when I start out an article like that. She wants you to, like, believe it.
Well,
Washington, D.C. Attorney General Pam Bondi explained today that she was really going to release all the Epstein files, but some pedophiles asked her to please not. Bondi stated that she understood the disappointment over her not releasing the client list, which has been, quote, on her desk since February. But she promised the pedophiles that she wouldn't. Sorry, guys, I told the pedophiles I would keep it under wraps, said Bondi to reporters. Look, I'm just as bummed as you are. I had all these great little binders made up with all the incriminating evidence I promised to release. Then, these pedophiles came along and asked me not to, which is super sad because now all these criminals will never be brought to justice. Too bad. Reporters questioned why Bondi decided to honor the request of the pedophiles when she had promised the nation to release the files in her possession. You should have seen the look on the pedophiles' faces, okay? Replied Bondi. They just look so worried. Don't judge my decision until you've walked a mile in a pedophile's shoes, like I have. At publishing time, Bondi had announced that she would no longer be releasing any information about the FBI targeting Catholics because some nice FBI agents had said, don't do that.
Oh my goodness. All right, there's one more here from the Babylon Bee.
Somebody's writing these out quick. There is no Epstein client list, say Epstein's clients. World. Concerned citizens of nations around the world breathed a collective sigh of relief this week as the individuals who comprise Jeffrey Epstein's client list assured everyone that there was no Epstein client list. After years of speculation about the names that could be present on the list of the people who were involved in Epstein's alleged global human trafficking ring, the matter was finally settled by the people on the list issuing a joint statement denying the existence of the list. The list that our names are on does not exist, said a representative of the people named on the list. While it has been claimed that the presence of our names on the Jeffrey Epstein's list was evidence that we were potentially guilty of horrible crimes against innocent victims, we can assure everyone that there was no client list, regardless of the fact that our names are on it. Those skeptics maintained that Epstein's client list most definitely existed and was being concealed by powerful elites to keep it secret. The powerful elites were adamant that this was not the case. Don't be ridiculous, said one powerful elite. As one of the people who is named on the Epstein client list, I can say with full confidence that there is no Epstein client list. Please stop asking about the release of the Epstein client list. Thank you, because it doesn't exist and I would know because my name is on it. At publishing time, the CIA also released a statement clarifying that the CIA had no involvement in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Dodgers baseball is proud.
No.
Oh, is that another article?
An ad for something else.
I could keep going all day.
Okay, well, how about
Give me another one?
How about we play this one, a throwback when Trump said he would release the Epstein client list.
Yeah, I put this in my intro.
But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger, too, because, you know, it endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy... is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it. But a lot.
So here you have Kash Patel, who is in his 40s, at a Reawaken tour in 2022. One I don't think we were at, but could have been. Kash Patel meets this young 26-year-old, maybe 24 at the time, little Jewish country singer who works for PragerU. She is half his age. Like, you have an apple, and you cut it down the middle, and it's half. So she's like his kid, but not, because she's his girlfriend, not even wife. And I find it
technically like a third his age, but you can round up if you want.
It's half.
Half would be 52, and he's like 44.
Half.
She's very young.
She's this Jewish country singer. She works for PragerU. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying everything is Jews. I'm not saying everything is Israel. But when it looks like Mossad, it walks like Mossad, and it quacks like Mossad, it's Mossad. And I'm going to tell you who else is working for Mossad right now. Ben Little Nose Shapiro. Okay? This, I don't know if this girl has anything to do with anything.
Is this the same girl?
I don't know. I don't
It
know.
does not look like the same person.
That does not look like the same person. But I want you to play the video here
of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Now, as part of our investigation, we spoke to Ari Ben-Mashani, who is a former Israeli spy. He said on the record unequivocally that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Israeli intelligence operations, the Mossad, and running a classic honey trap operation. That is, lure people inside, record their activities, and learn about their peccadillos and use it to blackmail them. This is a former spy on the record in the new book, Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Interestingly, this person was also the handler of Jeffrey Epstein's best friend and ex-girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. She was said to have been one of the women who helped procure the underage girls for Epstein. She has denied that. But her father was Robert Maxwell, a media and press baron who owned the Mirror News Group in England and also the New York Daily News. He was a former Mossad agent. And according to my source, Ari Ben-Mashari, the business that Robert Maxwell had was turned over to Jeffrey Epstein almost in a switch before Robert Maxwell died in mysterious circumstances off the back of a boat in 1991.
Well, I don't trust these deaths off of the back of a boat. Never can trust those deaths off the back of a boat. Didn't what's her name? One of the Hollywood starlets of like the 40s and 50s. She died off of the back of a boat. They all die off of the back of a boat.
So what some people are making connections to is this Marissa Street, who is not Kash Patel's girlfriend, but she is the CEO. She is the CEO of PragerU. She's a former Israeli Army intelligence member, and she's headmistress of a Los Angeles County school. And she has been part of PragerU since 2009. She was made chief executive officer in 2011 as a former Israeli intelligence officer. So when you have former Israeli intelligence and then now somebody who's working for former Israeli intelligence at PragerU dating Kash Patel, the now FBI director, there does seem to be a conflict of interest. Okay. When all these people are all seemingly connected. All right. They're just all connected. Now, this is Glenn Beck with Liz Wheeler talking about why Pam. No, this one isn't it. But go and play this one. We'll go to this one. So you've heard about the camera and the camera angle and how they released
the doors
this video.
don't look right.
And there's a minute missing. So Glenn Beck has on a, what do we call that? A Kansas t-shirt here. You don't wear sleeveless in studio as a guy.
I think it's awesome.
It's so funny here. But this guy Jason's gonna break it down, and I'm trusted Jason here with the plaid.
Is if the jump in the tape wasn't incompetent enough for you, listen to this one. Jason is here with us. Hi, Jason.
We'll get that
Hi,
minute
Glenn.
for you.
What a morning. Wow.
What a morning it is. Okay, so Jason, what else have you found?
Okay, so the more and more we looked at this tape, I started looking. It was just weird because it looked like a janitor's closet. So door
Stop with the
46.
janitor's closet.
And you were like, shut up. This is not a janitor's closet. I don't know what this is. Well, I was like, I could tell you there's a woman that looks like a janitor that comes out of supposedly the person, there's this cell that they're saying is his cell, which they're not, by the way. This was like people on social media were saying this was the cell. Is coming out with a trash can. So I looked around to see if there was any confirmation on what this cell was. And I found an OIG report from the Justice Department 2 years ago that shows the camera angle and the one camera that was actually working. So you can see the diagram, and I think we actually have it if you're watching this right now. There's a diagram that shows where this camera is. It shows where Epstein's cell is. And the big thing that stands out, Glenn, is this camera doesn't even have eyes on Epstein's cell at all. Like, not at all.
That's incredible.
4 different wings here. There is a service wing, and that's what we're looking at with that door 46. That's like a service entrance or staff entrance. Now, you can't see on the lower level Epstein cell at all. So this is what makes it look even crazier for that 1 minute that's missing. And I will say that, let me just say it this way. I've spent years and years and years looking at surveillance and security camera footage, as you know, in my previous job. I've never seen an over 1 minute jump right at a time that would be very, very, I don't know, just convenient. I've never seen that before in all my years looking at these things.
There's no reason. Why do you say that minute would be convenient? You're just saying that 1 minute being gone is convenient. You're not saying that particular minute
it's
is
convenient
important. We don't.
In this entire time frame based off of this camera angle. So it's convenient, like, let's say 60 seconds would be great for someone walking across that lower level. 60 seconds would be perfect for if you wanted to like conceal the fact that someone walked across that area. That's why it would be convenient.
Here's why I didn't buy into this at first. Okay, 60 seconds to get in and open the door and then kill him and then leave. Okay, but look at the diagram. If you look at the diagram where the camera is, there is maybe a foot space where the camera is not able to see where there is a door from the staff area. Okay?
Are you looking at, because I think it's hard to tell from this, are we looking at, is this diagram the top floor or the bottom floor? Jason, do you have any idea?
So it looks like Epstein. So I think Epstein cell is on the top floor. Yeah. So the stairs would
These
be
are the upper floors, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm looking at where the staff area is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See the yellow triangle.
Yes.
And the red box where it's his cell. Okay. So there is one way out of the staff area, and it's right below the camera,
like underneath the floor, essentially, of where the camera is.
Yeah, on the floor. If the camera's up on a ceiling, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the camera's the camera is
from above,
from
on the
second
ceiling.
floor, shooting down, and you can the.
So for those that are actually watching this, and I know for the podcast listeners, this is probably a really boring segment. We're actually supposed to be looking. Don't pay attention to the doors to the right. I think we're supposed to be looking across. If you look at the stairs that are there, this camera is designed, and what essentially the diagram is showing us is that past these two doors to the right and across the way is what is missing in the camera angle. Not these two doors don't have anything to do with it.
Evidence that they're basically proclaiming here, and this is true. You know what Jason's saying is true.
I don't think so. Let's pause and look at the diagram here together. Okay. Here's the camera. Mm-hmm. I know you guys can't see me pointing at this, but here's the camera, and they're trying to say that all the way across this, there's some stairs here. You got to know architecture. You got to see these little tiny stairs.
I see the stairs right here.
Right. And then they're talking about Epstein's cell is over there, not right here. Epstein's cell is like right next to these
around the
little
corner.
Stairs here. There's more stairs over there that apparently, like in the far distance. Okay. And so it's this weird angle thing with these like weird door 46s and stuff that's very distracting for what this footage is supposed to be drawing our attention to. Okay. It's supposed to be through that. See this right here where the camera is? Mm-hmm. That's this guardrail. The camera goes, it's supposed to be shooting across the guardrail, across this, we're at like some sort of mezzanine, essentially level, like second level. And then there's a big giant open area in there that's open space. And then to the right behind where this camera angle is where, because otherwise if it weren't for these doors, the camera would actually see more. It would see further. The doors are the only reason why this camera angle can't see across over to Epstein's cell.
Can't see the door of the Epstein cell. What you can see is a common area that, in theory, you would need to cross to get to the cell. What you're saying, Glenn, is the camera doesn't actually show 100% of the potential paths to get there, right?
It doesn't.
Like you could if you crossed right in front of the banister here on the bottom floor, there's no way
you're going to see.
Right.
Okay, so wait a minute. So I just want to make sure. we are talking about the same thing. If you look at the videotape, it's the white room downstairs, right? So it's where the garbage can is down there.
Below
so
that.
Epstein's room would be below the garbage can.
No, the Epstein's room, if you look out, if you the area that you can see, and I apologize for radio listeners here that aren't seeing this visual, but I want to make sure we get this right. There's an open area where the banister is like and it shows the common area behind it, right?
Okay.
If you go to the right side of the common area from our view, outside of the view to the right is where the entrance to the cell is, the stairs up to the cell.
So all you have to do, you don't have to cross the floor. Why do you have to cross the floor?
You could stay close to that wall.
You can go through the door. You can go through the door and see and just stay against the wall.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe, and Jason, maybe you know this, maybe it's explained somewhere else in the report, but like, is it possible that they're saying all the other entrances, like to get to that area, have cameras, and so they didn't see anybody walking into those areas? If that were true, of course you should release them.
Then why wouldn't you show the other?
Right.
This is not proof that anybody did anything.
No.
This is proof they are absent. Pam Bondi needs to be fired. Who is rolling this out? The little rascals? Panky, look, I got some videotape. What are you doing? This is ridiculous. This is such absolute incompetence.
Again, it doesn't prove that this, he was killed. However, it is the fact that they're releasing a video that has this many holes in it to a passing. Again, the person you're trying to make feel better about all of this is someone very interested in the detail of it, right? It's not someone who has a passing interest. You're not releasing this to some person who kind of knows who Jeffrey Epstein is. This is intentionally designed to try to push down what you're arguing is a conspiracy theory.
You're also, and you know what? I'm not arguing anything. I'm arguing this is incompetence.
Yes.
I'm not arguing that he killed himself or he didn't kill him. I don't know. But this isn't helping. Not only are you saying, that these people have some interest in it. Well, these people are, interested in the details. No. You're releasing it to a bunch of people who many of them have the details, but many of them are hostile to what you're saying. So you better have a buttoned up case. You better not have anything that they find out later. Wait a minute. What?
Right.
That was really good.
So I want to skip the two YouTubes real quick. We'll come back to them. This is one of the Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell victims that testified in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. I'm going to play this. This is from a few years ago.
I have spent the last 17 years in my own prison for what she, Jeffrey, and all the co-conspirators did to me. I was raped repeatedly. I was raped 3 times a day sometimes. And I was not the only girl on that island. There was a constant stream of girls being raped over and over and over again. And yes, Ghislaine must die in prison because I've been in hell and back for the last 17 years.
And 27 for me.
I was 10 years old when Liz Stein was being trafficked. I was 10. That is how long the sex trafficking ring has been going on.
So those are 2 victims, and she's been on the island, and she said there were other people on the island, but we don't care who.
3 times a day by multiple co-conspirators.
Now you can go to the left, and we'll play a couple more.
How did that feel, that moment that they called your name, you had to get up and finally look Ghislaine in the eye?
It's something that I have worked very, very, very hard for the last 6 years. So that, I think my statement was about 4 or 5 minutes, was the fight that I have done, the highs, the lows, the litigation. It was all worth it just to have those 3 minutes looking at Ghislaine, saying what I needed to say to her.
Did you hope that maybe she would somehow have don't know, respond, react, anything?
I was hoping that as a human being, she would have felt something. She would have at least acknowledged or looked, or but there was none of that. And that doesn't matter for me. The thing for me, the memory I'll take away from today that I will never forget until the rest of my, well, for the rest of my life, was hearing Ghislaine walk into court with the chains. And that was a very somber but liberating moment for me, because there's no more games. I just heard the clinking, clink, clink, clink of chains.
Yeah, that's real.
That's real, that's reality. And, you know, that's
a little bit her age here.
Her very own family have victim shamed the victims and try to discredit them. And this has been a very complicated legal case. And I don't think any victim should ever have to go through what I've gone through, or what any Epstein survivor has gone through. It should never have been this hard.
It was like being victimized again and again after the fact.
Well, it's like being raped again by the system. That's exactly what it was. We were raped by Jeffrey and Ghislaine, and the system raped us again. And, you know, technically, if the FBI and the governmental institutions listened to Maria Farm in 1996, I wouldn't have been raped. Liz Stein, the other survivor, I was 10 years old when she was being trafficked. I was 10. I'm now 37. I was 10 when she was being raped. Now at 37, I'm turning 38 in August. Why has it taken this long to get one conviction? And who is responsible behind that? Who are the people covering for these traffickers? Because this was an international sex trafficking ring that trafficked hundreds of children and young women into the thousands. One arrest is, I guess I'll take the scraps that I'm given, if that's what you call it, if that's what you call justice, a bit of scraps like a dog. But, you know, I'll take whatever scraps of justice I can get. But this isn't justice today.
That was my next question. 20 years was maybe a skosh more than the expected, not an outrageous amount. And I think most of it, any add-on was because what you heard from Ghislaine was not remorse. It was not apology. It was more, hey, I'm a victim too, which I want to get into. But you think that the 20 years, not really justice?
I think Ghislaine got that amount of time because of her age. You know, let's not forget Ghislaine has turned 60, I think, on the 25th of December 2021. Ghislaine
So this is a 4-year-old video.
won't see sunshine again. She won't hear the laughter, thank God, of children, thank God. She'll never be able to walk in a field with flowers. She'll never be able to hear the sea again. She'll never be able to touch beach sand. So,
So, you know, she's talking about lots of victims. Okay, not.
I really want to make it very clear, rape isn't just about women. It's gender neutral. It's class neutral. It's race neutral. Rape is rape, so I'm going to be dedicating my life to help those survivors.
Now, Bannon asks Natalie Winters, I'm going to see, is that what I've got? Okay. What she thinks about all of this. And I want you to hear her last sentence.
Response on the Epstein situation in the cabinet room today. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being perfection, 1 being we're not bringing our best, where did that fit?
I will answer this not on a scale. I would say no amnesty for illegals and no amnesty for Epstein. And the fact that I even have to clarify that makes me want to put the answer at 1. Look, I don't know what's going on. I don't think we all have to pretend like we know what's going on all the time, but I just know this audience elected President Trump to release the truth about a host of things. And I thought that the Epstein files were going to be a day one thing that's pretty easy compared to the USAID nest of vipers you have going on there, everything that's going on at the Pentagon. I would think the Epstein list would be pretty simple. But I guess when it's involved, probably likely with foreign intelligence operations that we're actively arming, perhaps it gets a little trickier. But I think we need to have a serious come to Jesus moment within the MAGA movement about what's going on.
Wow, that's well said.
I think so too.
And
Now-
speaking of a Natalie W., thank you guys in the chat. Everybody, the Hollywood starlet that I was talking about was Natalie Wood, that was killed off the back of a boat.
That's true. You guys remember the time when Melinda Gates said that she divorced Bill Gates because he wouldn't stop visiting Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't remember that.
It was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had
You were
nightmares
married to
about
evil
it afterwards.
personified.
So, you know, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful.
You felt that the moment you walked in? I didn't
He was
realize
awful.
that. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him?
Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer.
Okay.
But I made it very clear how I felt about him.
I'm stepping away.
Again, she knows stuff. And she's not saying anything because everybody is still trying to cover for everybody.
Now, I want to no client list. Here is one. Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein victim, Virginia Guffrey, who said, I was trafficked to Prince Andrew. What is this little girl, teenager, doing with this woman who loves little girls?
You mean with this man?
Well, yeah,
You
but
said
her
what-
too.
oh, yeah, with
she,
Ghislaine,
She
yeah.
abused the girls with Jeffrey. So she's being trafficked to Prince Andrews.
Right.
Now you can play the video.
Forward, go lower, go lower, go lower, go lower. Go up a little bit. Right there. Hang on, right there. You will not even believe what I just found. Look at the case you worked on. Look for all the way in the bottom of miscellaneous, second line. 2021, 2022. Kaplan was presiding judge on matter relating towards Virginia Guffrey and Prince Andrew. Click on that on 6. Watch what happens. What happens to the case. Click on that's the one. Click right there, zoom in, and just go to the top. Yeah, Jeffrey Andrew reached, the case was dismissed by the party stipulation in March 2022 without going to trial.
Prince Andrew.
So let me get this straight. This case, read the top. Federal Court, Virginia. You know who Virginia Guffrey? I mean, we just talked about her, right?
Trafficked girl
That's
from
right.
Epstein Island.
From Epstein Island, second son of
The
for
picture.
sexual assault under court. Several sexual encounters with Andrew in the early 2000s at the age of 17 after being sex trafficked by American financier and convicted by sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Dismissed without going to trial. Yet Trump's $83.3 million.
Wow. What a freaking find. Great find. That is insane. All you gotta do is dig a little.
So that case was dismissed. And then while we're talking all about this, Trump is saying that Benjamin Netanyahu is the greatest man in the world.
Do you think that there can be a
two-state solution that creates an independent?
I don't know. I'd ask Bibi that question. You have the greatest man in the world to answer that age-old question, two-state. Go ahead. You give him your honest
Well,
answer.
he
said to answer the question.
Yeah. Okay. You can stop that one. Yeah. All right. So now we have Megyn Kelly asking questions about Pam Bondi. She still is in the Dan Bongino, Cash Patel camp.
That Pam Bondi used, which was no incriminating client list. That really jumped out to me, actually, because it maybe gives her a little wiggle room between saying that she had a client list and then saying there's no incriminating client list. So I wanted to ask you if maybe that's what's going on here before we get into some of these other details.
I don't know what's going on with her. I believe Dan Bongino's not lying to me. I really do. When Dan Bongino puts his name on something, I don't know Cash as well, but I know Dan. I know him well. We've worked together many, many years. He didn't just turn around and start lying. That's not who he is. He's an honest guy, and he takes this role very seriously, and I trust him. And I trust him not to actively mislead me or you. However, Pam Bondi has definitely made multiple inconsistent statements, and I'm sorry, but she does not deserve the benefit of my good opinion, and I'm not prepared to give it to her. She's, yes, on camera saying that clip that Peter Doocy was referencing, where John Roberts asked her, do you have the client list? Like, are you going to release a client list? And she said, yes. He said client list, and she said, yes, it's on my desk right now. So it was not as amorphous as Caroline, to her credit. She's trying to cover for the administration, which is her job, but they put her in a very difficult position. It's not amorphous. It's very clear. She said yes. And here's what happened. What happened was Pam Bondi said that, and then a week later, she said she was going to be releasing some very interesting documents the next day when on Jesse Waters' show, like 6 days after that first hit, he said, hey, what client list is coming out? And she was like, it's going to be getting very interesting, and some interesting Epstein documents are coming out tomorrow. And that is when the influencers, right-wing influencers who had been very good to Trump, who amidst all the deranged media out there, were able to see through the bullshit and reported honestly and helped him a lot, and did not deserve the humiliation that she heaped upon them. It was not through their own doing. She invited them there. I mean, who wouldn't go, right? It's Pam Bondi. Do you want to come meet with the head of the FBI and the vice president for an exclusive Epstein leak? Yeah, yes. Most people in media would say yes to that. So they went, and in the classic line from Animal House, you fucked up. You trusted us. That's what happened. They fucked up because they trusted her, and they were humiliated because she gave them all these binders that read Epstein files, volume 1. And there was nothing new in there. Nothing. There was no scoop. Why would she do that? And it led to, behind the scenes, like all the White House staffers, like the top people in the White House for Trump, distancing themselves from Pam Bondi immediately. Like, we don't know why she did that. And then it came out that they were urging her not to do it. But I don't know what she was up to. She wanted to have some moment where she looked like she was the one. And then she was in trouble, and she knew it. So she said, all right, that's just the first tranche. I'm really pissed off. The FBI is the one who screwed me. They said everything was in there. Okay, like you need to know. You need to know that no lawyer just sloppily calls all these PR people in and says, here are the files, without knowing what's in there. But she wants us to believe she did. Okay, so she either was clueless or she intentionally embarrassed them. I don't know which is better.
Sorry about the F-bombs there, guys.
Yeah,
That's why we're not winning, Megyn.
I know. So now we have Jake Tapper here. Now CNN is in on trying to keep the Epstein case alive.
What's really going on here? I mean, what's really going on?
Share.
Well,
1 second, guys.
Experts, such as our friend Julie Brown from the Miami Herald, who's been covering Epstein for years, say that the notion of Epstein having an easy-to-access client list is likely a red herring. And that's what the Trump administration is relying on, that there likely isn't a list per se. But they are also now relying on the fact that because it's MAGA influencers who often put forward so many falsehoods, legacy news media won't push the point, that while there might not be a list, there are certainly files that can be released. There's a trove of information that the Trump administration is right now refusing to share. Information that could well point to the powerful folks who availed themselves of the sex trafficking victims of Jeffrey Epstein. If you go, for example, to the FBI vault online, you can see that there are 22 files containing thousands of pages. Most of them are heavily redacted. Now, sure, of course, redact the names and identifying characteristics of the victims. But why not make the victim and witness testimonies public? As Julie Brown points out, there's still so much we don't know from the investigations by U.S. attorneys in Miami and in New York, witness interviews in the U.S. Virgin Islands and New Mexico. Brown writes that there's still more evidence that hasn't been published, including, quote, Epstein kept video cameras in most of his residences, and Epstein's autopsy, nor the report of the investigation into his death, has ever been made public. So while there may not be an official client list to be released, as the administration is now saying, there's a lot of extra information that is not being made public, despite Trump's Justice Department basically now saying case closed. This isn't going to go away. The public, you're being played for fools here.
Well, I never thought I would say well said to Jake Tapper. However, let's address this list thing and what they're trying to tell us. They're trying to say that there's like on a technicality, they have not uncovered a list from Jeffrey Epstein himself that says, these are my clients. That's what they're telling us. There's no list. Because they didn't uncover supposedly they didn't uncover a list of Jeffrey Epstein having kept a list. Okay, so let's put this into perspective. I own a pet care business. I do not have a list of my clients. I have never compiled a list of my clients. I have never put together a list of my clients. The best thing that I have is my my addresses that go out for my Christmas cards that I print off once a year. I don't have a client list, but what I do have are invoices and emails and text messages and pictures and communications with said clients. This is ridiculous. They have a compiled list of people who were, quote unquote, Jeffrey Epstein's clients who these little girls were trafficked to. They are gaslighting all of us. Now, I want to go over here and check out some comments to see if you guys have anything that you want to say. Mike over on Getter, hey Getter, says, sliding the Epstein files under the carpet is a major bowing to the deep state by Bondi. Very well said. Thank you for that. Chris says, a man who knows Bongino said he thinks that this whole scenario is a setup for the far left to throw their own under the bus in an attempt to get Trump through Epstein because they hate him so much. Jim says, makes you wonder if Trump didn't go to the island. Did Epstein have evidence on Trump? Or Trump is protecting his rich friends? You girls are right about Trump. He is untrustworthy, which is a great thing. It's amazing. Jim's come a long way in the past couple of weeks. Kimberly Vinzel says, what a tangled web we weave. Very, very well said.
So this is highly disturbing. So there was a compensation fund from Epstein's vast estate of $600 million.
Okay.
And it was opened up and it was launched in 2020. And they thought that they would have about 100 applicants. And there was 225. More than double what they had expected. I think the number of certified victims of Epstein's sex trafficking is unspeakable. There really aren't words to describe the enormity of his crime, said David Boyes, chairman of Boyes, Schiller, Flexner, a law firm that represents several alleged Epstein victims who participated in the program. Of the 150 applicants that were deemed eligible for compensation, more than 92% accepted offers. The awards were paid by the executors of Epstein's estate, but the claims were evaluated independently, free from any interference or control by the estate. This was offered as a safe space in a confidential forum to resolve these disputes. The compensation fund was first proposed by the Epstein estate in fall of 2019, a few months after Epstein died in a federal jail. The estate was then facing civil lawsuits from more than 30 women who alleged sexual abuse by Epstein. Had all those cases been litigated, clearly it would have exhausted significant funds from the estate, leaving less for victims. said Brad Edwards, a Florida lawyer who guided more than 50 of his clients through the claim process. All just to Epstein and Ghislaine. For the most part, I think it was successful. It was definitely worthwhile for everybody to participate. Those who accepted the compensation offers were required to sign broad releases foreclosing their ability to bring any further claims against the Epstein estate or any of his former companies or employees, including those alleged to have conspired with Epstein. In at least 3 incidences, women who filed lawsuits against Epstein's alleged accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, were required to drop their civil claims against her as a condition of receiving compensation.
Wow.
Maxwell has pleaded not guilty. And then they shut it down because too many people. So Epstein's taken all these girls on an island just for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl was raped 3 times a day just by Ghislaine and Jeffrey.
Right.
And there's a bona fide 150 victims. And we know the flight logs exist. And we know that many of the names are like Candy and, Bambi and, all these little names for, fake names for girls and things like that. A lot of them are girls, underage girls. And we're told that the FBI, who had access to his whole island, doesn't have any paperwork. There was nothing on the island when they raided it. There's nothing, no other people.
The video cameras didn't exist.
There's the
Surveillance
flight
footage.
logs that do exist of all these people going back and forth. And we know Bill Gates went.
Everybody went.
To the island.
Who didn't go?
And we know that these girls were on the island. And we know that these girls have said, I was trafficked on this island. And our DOJ and Donald Trump is like, whatever. We also know that this man was really good at getting around our tax system.
Mm-hmm.
And people will go to him for tax advice on how to evade our taxes.
Right.
And we know that he was working with Mossad, and we know that he was working with the CIA. And our DOJ, and we were promised by Cash and Dan, we'll get to the bottom of this. We'll bring more information to you. My question is, Cash is like, I don't want to re-victimize any of these victims, but most of them, they want to talk. So you don't get to come to me and say, there's no there. You're not looking.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't go interview them. Talk to them. I want DOJ. I want to know the people on that list. I want to talk to them. I want to protect them. I want to put them in witness protection. I'm not sending money to Ukraine. We're ending sex trafficking in America right now. I'm sorry. We have witness protection for these victims here. But you can't. Because they're connected to the powerful elite around the world. And Dan Bongino, eyes wide. Don't trust anybody who's talking to you with their eyes wide like this, because they're trying to think of a lie on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Kash Patel, he can't blink. Why can't he blink when he's being asked by Maria Bartiromo about the Epstein list? He can't blink. He can't blink because he can't think and blink and lie at the same time.
Henry says, very scary, but this is really putting it into perspective. Learning a lot. I think we're all learning a lot here through this debacle that is right. Here's the thing. They're doing it out in front. They know that they're doing it. They know that we know, and that's what makes it like so terrible.
The binder from Bondi.
They know that we know.
Let's play just a little bit of Liz.
I want to hear from you guys over on YouTube. I'm seeing that chat is completely empty, but there's plenty of people over there watching. So shout out in the live chat. Let us know what you think if you're watching on YouTube.
I want to play a little bit of this Liz Wheeler phoning into Glenn Beck, because she was one that was called in and handed the binder, and an embarrassment to everybody handed a binder.
about the Epstein files because there was a grisly crime that we know for a fact was committed. Epstein was convicted of that. It wasn't speculative. He was convicted of it. People feel that there's evidence of a cover-up. We're not inventing a conspiracy. There's evidence of a cover-up of this crime. Pam Bondi, as Attorney General, has exacerbated this trust. And it gives me no pleasure to say this because I like to give the benefit of the doubt to people that are on our side. But going back to that day at the White House in February, I haven't told this part of the story before. Attorney General Pam Bondi, when we met with her, we weren't at the White House to meet with her. We just met with her while we were there. Pam Bondi bragged to us about making that cover sheet on the binder, the one that read the most transparent administration in history. She said she had made it. She had printed it. She was proud of it. She placed it on that binder. Going to call that a severe lack of judgment would be the understatement of the year. There is no way in my mind, and I have tried every way to Sunday to square that behavior with the announcement that we got last night from the Department of Justice. Pam Bondi told us at the time, she said, I requested the Epstein files. The files in the binder were the ones given to me. Nothing was in them, she told us at the time. Then a whistleblower called her, she told us, and said the SDNY was hiding other files. That's the story, she told us, that there's been a deep state cover-up. So at the time, after we were given these binders, we waited, right? You give your side the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Pam Bondi will come up with the goods, even though the rollout was botched, to say the least. But this is another thing I have not discussed publicly before. She said she had not seen the SDNY documents at the time that she was telling us about them. I asked her directly that day in the White House. When she said, a whistleblower told us about these truckloads of SDNY documents, I said, have you seen them? She said, no, she sent the request and they're bringing them to her. So contextualizing all of this, suddenly this seems like unforgivable behavior. How could she give the American people, not just me, I don't care about how this impacts me, how could she give the American people those phase one binders that contains nothing, while at the same time bragging about the cover sheet that she made, the most transparent administration in history, and tell us that the SDNY had the real goods, that the binder was just proof of a deep state cover-up? That was the real story, she told us, only now to say, sorry, there's actually nothing. So it leaves us with this situation. What are the options? The options as, well, was she herself set up by some deep state FBI career officials trying to make a fool of her? It's possible, maybe even probable.
Possible.
But here's the thing. If you are smart, if you are savvy, if you are sharp enough to be the Attorney General of the United States, you verify such information. You don't assume its veracity and publicize it for clicks.
Okay, you can
And
pause
that's what
that. She's a bimbo. Glenn Beck. The Epstein evidence list isn't just damning, it's clarifying. No matter what you believe about Epstein's past or fate, 5 conclusions can be logically drawn from the material seized. Here we go. Number 1. This was not a small or isolated operation. Dozens of devices, thousands of photos, labeled photo albums, surveillance tapes, blueprints, foreign passports. This wasn't one man with a dark secret, like in his basement, that lone pedophile guy. This was a guy with international connections. This was infrastructure, logistics, coordination. This was a system. You don't get high elite people to an island without some logistics, okay? I can't even get, I screen people to come over to my cookouts, okay? There's a massive digital footprint, hundreds of hard drives, USB, CDs, backup servers, some labeled with things like Nude Girls Pics Book 4. Travel logs, employee directories, videotapes. The real question, why hasn't this been fully disclosed to the public? Well, we don't want to show you child porn. Yeah, I don't want to see it either, but you could tell us what it contains. Intelligence involvement isn't a stretch. An Austrian passport with Epstein's face. An Austrian passport with Epstein's face. This guy was a CIA agent. Honey trap style setups, international mobility, too much precision, too much reach, too many decades undetected. This isn't a wild theory. This is why he killed himself. He killed himself. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. Okay. The system's silence, it is itself evidence. If anyone else had even 1/10 of this material, underage photos, coded file names, flight logs, they'd be under a prison. But here, crickets. No prosecutions, no answers. That's the real scandal. I think that the one thing that we're learning from Jeffrey Epstein is when he promised that he would keep you secret, he meant it. He meant it. You got to hand him that.
But not because his files and his life kept it secret. It's because
His
of who he
handlers.
knew could
Yeah.
do the job, all the way up to Trump.
Our institutions are on trial. This is bigger than Epstein. It's about media complicity. Justice deferred, power protected, truth buried. Until this case is fully revealed, every elite institution carries a stench they can't wash off. To dismiss this as conspiracy theory, it is a conspiracy, is to admit you no longer believe in accountability. Truth about Epstein is not morbid curiosity. It's a civics test. And every day we fail to demand answers, we normalize elite immunity.
Amen.
If we don't confront what's in those files, we've declared that truth in America is now negotiable, that justice is a luxury of the unimportant, that power is a shield for the perverse. The Epstein case isn't over. It's the Rosetta Stone of public trust. And if we don't get to the bottom of it, we'll never restore what's already been lost.
That's good, Glenn.
Here are each of the Epstein victims and who they explicitly testified hurt them. Virginia Giuffre, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Prince Andrew, Alan Dershowitz, Jean-Luc Brunel, Bill Richardson, Glenn Dubin, Tom Pritzker, Stephen Kaufman. Now, how would you know any of those people or any of those names?
You wouldn't.
How would you know any of those people? How could you even prove? Why would you even randomly make those people up?
Yeah.
You can't. You can't make it up.
Right.
Nobody knows those people. Mm-hmm. Alan Dershowitz, Trump's lawyer, he's implicated. He said that he got a massage but with his clothes on, with his underwear on.
Okay, but here's the thing that gets me about Alan Dershowitz. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
So if he admits that, why isn't the FBI literally interviewing Alan Dershowitz about what he knows? How did he get there? What other girls were there? Were there any other men there? Who were the other men there? Why isn't anybody, if he has admitted to that, where's the investigation? Why haven't you asked questions?
These are more girls. Sarah, Elizabeth, Caitlin, Lisa, Priscilla, Maria, Caroline, Annie. They implicate Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Courtney, Jennifer, Michelle, Jenna-Lisa, Jeffrey Epstein, Johanna, Jeffrey Epstein, and Prince Andrew. Only one of these women was hit by the bus from speed this year.
Virginia
and then
Giuffre.
She died. And how about that $290 million settlement in the JP Morgan class action suit with 200 Jane Does who all claimed JP Morgan facilitated Epstein's sex trafficking enterprise.
I don't have that one. Did you just click on that?
It's just underneath of this.
Okay.
So,
close the other one,
you know, when you go to the bank and you pull out some money.
Yeah.
If you pull out more than 10,000, it's reported.
Right.
So Jeffrey Epstein was constantly pulling out 9,999, but it was never reported. They said it was for tips to traffic these girls. Because you had to do it in cash, right?
Right.
This is from Bruce. I'll let Michelle read it.
I supported him. I get it. It's hard to admit you were rugged. Hard to admit that after all the hard-fought battles of the last 5 years that he's just the same as everyone else. We gave so much because we cared about our nation. Many of us gave money and many risked freedom to support him because we love America. Some made the mistake of making him bigger than the movement. Now he rug pulls us all, his base, and destroys the coalition he built. I was worried about his trash record on COVID tyranny and liberty, but I viewed Kamala as an existential threat to the U.S. I hated that the media and the Dems lied so often and pushed division. We didn't have any other viable choice. Some loved him and some chose the lesser of two evils. It's possible for multiple things to be true at once. Yes, the J6 prosecutions and narratives were a sham. Yes, the election was probably stolen. And yes, Biden was an incompetent puppet and the media covered and lied for him continually. Yes, Biden's handlers worked with the FBI and woke Silicon Valley executives to censor true information from the American people. But if you go along with this, you are every bit as dumb of a cult personality follower as the woke left has said all along. This is right and there is right and there is wrong. Clearly, the man who pushed, quote, Operation Warp Speed and promised to end the Ukraine war on day one has not changed for the better since the last term. By the way, we're funding Ukraine again, if you didn't know that. He's revealed himself to be completely co-opted and compromised and has thrown his base under the bus. He lied. This isn't me saying this, guys. It's not Michelle's show. This is somebody that was supporting Trump and now saying this. We didn't vote for America second. We didn't vote to be vassals to Netanyahu. We didn't vote for big government expansion, for neocon war hawk policies, or for covering for the deep state and Epstein or a foreign blackmail scheme. We have a country to save. If Donald Trump wants to burn his legacy to the line his pockets and align with the enemies of truth and our values against, I don't know what it means here, against values, then he can go it without us. I'm out. MAGA is dead. You can still make America first and support what is right. Follow your moral code. Kind of how I feel about it, guys. I'm not going to lie. He pretty much, aside from the curse words that he included there, pretty much stole the words out of my mouth. Let me check on some comments here. Over on Rumble, Nulf says, well said.
Thomas Massey asks, was Jeffrey Epstein an asset of the government intelligence agency? And 93.6% say yes. What say you? Everybody's grift off of MAGA is finally coming to an end, and I think it's hilarious. MAGA is dead. I want the grifters to end, and I want people to start to listen to the truth tellers, people who are not bought, people who are not sold, people who do not funnel it. Okay, I'm getting paid. My money comes through. I is supporting Trump, even though I support these issues. But if Trump goes against the issues, then I have to side with Trump rather than my principles because my money is over here. Guys, thank you so very much. We have a small yet powerful handful of donors, and we appreciate you so much. Michelle and I still have a job, okay? I want you to know this. We have a pet care business. We don't make $1 gazillion. We don't even, my newest car is a 2008 Honda Odyssey.
It's so nice.
Okay.
It's the nicest car we've ever owned.
Okay. Kate Pumpkin. Okay. That's Kate Pumpkin. We're still, working on my mom's medical debt from last year. Okay. So, and you know what?
Everybody else is in the same boat that's listening to us.
Here's the thing. I know the route that if we had gone down, I might have a 2018 Honda Odyssey, but I don't want one because those ones actually have problems. And the 2008 Honda Odyssey is the best year they ever made. Thank you, Jesus, for getting me that car because I don't have any troubles with that car mostly. Okay, but
the point you're making.
My point that I'm making is that when you rah-rah Trump, there is money to be made. Okay?
Views,
Clay
and
Clark,
clicks.
money to be made. That lying, sniveling snake of a man who I thought for 1 second had a heart, but his heart is Scrooge McDuck. It's cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Money, 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 money. It's all these people can think about. What can we say to the people? And you know what? There's a handful of people that don't think like that. And you know who one of them is? I have a friend, and I'm going to tell you who one of them is. Tom Renz.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Does not do it for the cha-chings or the money or the clicks.
That's it.
Okay? I know this man. Thank God for a few of them. You guys are always asking us, call out names, Leah. Who are the real ones?
Tom Renz.
He doesn't make $1 gazillion. He's just got his wife through cancer. Okay? He wants to leave the fight, but he just keeps drawing back in. Keep a prayer for him. We pray for him all the time. And you know how I know? Because he talks to us. That he's the real deal.
Eric Naputi,
he's one of them too.
Real
but
deal.
Here's the thing. The MAGA movement, I see it. Even Emma Robinson, I love her. I'm not calling her a grifter. But she's on Lindell TV. And I'm glad that I'm not we were supposed to be on Lindell TV. But we haven't been on, and I'm kind of glad because Michelle and I were talking about it. They kept saying, "Hey, we want to give you a show. We want to give you a show." And we're like, "Yeah, we'll take it, as long as we can, call the balls and the strikes." Do you want an umpire?
Emerald is.
She is, but she isn't because the way she does this is she's good at it.
I wouldn't be that good at it.
Okay, it's all the people around Trump. It's all the people around you, Trump. Right? Liz Wheeler does the same thing. They have to not for their viewers at this point. Because when you get to that level, your access to those people in that circle goes away when you say something negatively about Trump himself. So there is a coded way in which you speak, and you have to speak in order to be in the MAGA movement. You have to do it like Jack Posobiec is doing it right now.
I can't code the way I speak.
So what they've all decided is Pam Bondi is the fall one. Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, they're up in the air, okay? But never Trump. Never his fault, because then you're down. You're down. You don't make any money. You're out. But I don't make any money anyways, so boom. You can't, if I'm not bought, then you can't be sold. And that's what I'm saying. Now let's play a bought and sold guy right here. 30 days ago, J.D. Vance, he's vice president of the United Stinking States right now.
We need to release the Epstein list. Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list.
Oh, guess who you are? Oh, you're the vice president. You can make that happen, little cheeky man.
You know what I find really interesting about
I'm going to go to
thing?
podcast. It'd be so cool.
I think that, and you can disagree with me on this. Again, this is just a theory. I'm not 100% sold on it. I think that the intention was originally they probably thought, literally, I think they thought, yeah, sure, we can release the Epstein list. I think that they thought that they could. And so I think that that's why they kept saying it. I think that they were using it, like I said, like a little cheese. But then I think once they got to it and they're like, whoa, Trump, we actually can't release this because there's a bunch of names on here that are people that are
they will implicate
on you.
I
right
am
now.
feeling a very...
And so then it all gets reversed, like, oh, shoot. We actually can't release this because of all of these other reasons. And so that's kind of what my gut says. I think that at some point in the past, I think that all of these people thought, I think we probably can release it and it won't be that big of a deal, until they were like, oh, wait, we're affiliated with all these people.
You know, one of my favorite movies, Five Goes West.
Oh,
Five-O, just first one. Five-O, right?
Yeah, Isn't it? No, so there's Five-O Goes West, and then there's just Five-O.
Five-O's my first one. Little Mouskovitz.
Little
Mouskovitz. They are Russian Jews. Little mice, right?
Well, you can't watch it now. They're Jews, and everybody's going to get hating on you.
I love the Russian Jews. You know, Putin loves the Russian Jews, too.
We're out there beneath the pale moonlight. Someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight. This is my childhood right here.
Yeah. Okay, so I am having a moment where in my head, Mr. Mouskowitz's accent is coming upon me. And I do believe this is why the boy cries. This is why you don't cry wolf, right? When you say it's the Jews all the time. When it is the Jews, you don't believe it. When you say it's Israel all the stinking darn time, when it is, ain't nobody gonna believe you.
So here's his dad. This is Bible's dad.
I'm here to tell you, this is Israel. This is Mossad. And all y'all people done muddy the waters with, like, every single second I turn around, it's a Jews, it's a Jews, it's a Jews, it's a Jews, it's a Jews. Not everything is a Jews. There's not that many people, not that many Jews. There's a lot of bad people. Rockefeller was a Christian. And he ruined more than I will tell you, Rockefeller ruined more than Mossad. You don't want to talk about Rockefeller because he was Christian. Okay?
Rhonda says, and the government wonders why we don't trust anything they say or do, and Trump is part of this cover-up. Guess he is now what they say he wasn't, a politician. Well said, Rhonda. Lana says, I love my Odyssey too. That's awesome. And Herbert says, you ladies are doing an excellent job. Thank you, Herbert. And thank you to everybody over on YouTube finally deciding to join the chat. You guys are awesome over there. We haven't been, you know, it's so funny. I don't know who I was talking to the other day about, you know, our YouTube. And oh, I know somebody left this really great comment. Allow me just for 1 second to indulge me for 1 second, saying, "You girls have great content." And I've heard this. I've heard it once. I've heard it 1,000 times. You have great content. More people would watch it if it wasn't so long. Please do 30-minute segments because this video was nearly 3 hours. And I left this comment underneath of them saying, because you may not know this and people on YouTube may not know this, we were on YouTube for a long time. And we got plenty of views and we did small little videos, 15, 30 minutes all the time. And those did very well. And then we started to get censored. So we would upload 5 or 6 15-minute segments. And so instead we had to take all those topics and go live because we found out that if we went live on YouTube, we wouldn't be censored and we'd have thousands of people watching a live show.
The longer we were on, the more people would
And the
get to
longer
see
we were
our
on, the
show.
more people would get to see our show. And we'd do a show and it'd have 20, 30, 50, 75,000 views because of the live. And it was a long form show. Yay, team. And then we got kicked off of YouTube. 3,000 videos, millions of views, gone. Okay? No longer on YouTube. We left to YouTube in 2021. We're now back there. But let me tell you something. It doesn't matter. 15-minute video, 5-minute video, 60-second video, 3-hour video. YouTube says resistance chicks, no, we can't have you. You para. We don't touch you. We don't promote you. We don't put you out there for anybody to see. If you're watching us on YouTube, oh my gosh, amazing miracle has happened. You may win the lottery tomorrow because look what happened tonight. You found resistance chicks on YouTube. Wow. Okay? YouTube says no. Resistance chicks is para. Can't have them. So it doesn't matter how long my video is because what they were saying is I want you to have more views. I want more people to see you. You want me to have more views? Share my videos. Tell your friends.
Hey,
have a block party of watching resistance chicks.
Please, hey, you don't have to pay any money. You know what you can do? You can cut up our clips if you find one that's
somebody
really
else. Yeah, take the clips, cut them up. But you know what's so funny? You know when Michelle does that and she adds another, 3 hours to her work week, and I work so hard on all these amazing little clips that everybody says make sure videos.
They get like
500 views. That's all they get. I can't help it. I try to make the clips and the clips don't go viral. Why? Because every platform says you can't be seen. So what do? We pray. We fight. We don't give up. I will continue to upload the smaller clips. I will continue to do the longer live clips, and we will not give up. We will never surrender to YouTube or censorship. Here. Say what I said.
You said what you said.
Maybe blaming the Jews for everything was part of the plan. Ohio Croatian says, girls, few almost perfect politicians exist. You are asking too much of Donald Trump. DC is a failure. So here's the thing. I'm not asking for a perfect politician.
I'm asking for things he not do.
Here's the thing.
Sometimes I think it's like he do the things that are I'm asking him to not say we're going to have amnesty for illegal farm workers, slaves, and hotel workers.
Because we still want slaves.
I'm asking him not to add trillions of dollars to the deficit. I'm asking him not. Here's the thing. I don't know if you knew this, but the RNC changed the way we see abortion and the way we do marriage. He could have just left it. So the Republican platform was life begins at conception. Leave it.
Why you got to mess with that?
So he goes in and they say abortion is okay up to 6 months as part of the RNC platform.
And the RNC platform also said that marriage was between a man and a woman. Leave that alone. Stop
but they
touching
didn't leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
So if you're selling me, and if he's changing the channel on the radio station and you're asking too much. I'm like, no, I'm asking him to leave it.
Stop touching the channel.
Stop touching.
Stop touching the channel.
Stop touching it.
Don't touch it.
Stop touching.
Leave it.
Leave it.
We own a pet care business, so I say that phrase gets said a lot around here. Trump, leave it.
This is from JD Sharp. I've been a very vocal Trump supporter for 10 years, both digitally and on air as a radio host. I also voted for him 3 times. I attended election night in West Palm Beach this year and waited until 2 a.m. for him to come out on stage with his family and administration. The combination of Epstein being a Mossad and CIA agent tasked with getting blackmail on influential people to benefit Israel, Trump being pictured with Epstein several times, Trump's previous involvement with Roy Cohn, who was basically Epstein before Epstein, Trump's policy that consistently favors Israel, and Trump's extremely defensive reaction today at the press conference simply asking a question about Epstein after the 180 on his life, employer, and death makes me believe that he is likely compromised by Israel through Jeffrey Epstein.
Can I point something out with these pictures of Trump with Jeffrey Epstein? Do we have a number? Google this. Ask your little stupid AI. How many different pictures exist of Trump and Epstein? I want to know, because here's the why. Leah and I were part of what we call the Clay Clark movement. It's the Reawaken America tour, whatever. We were part of that. So there's a lot of people that I have had my picture taken with that I would not associate myself with. And that I would say, I'm so sorry. I don't want to be associated with this person anymore. Okay. However, like, I don't even know that person very well. We were, it was a group picture. There were multiple people in this picture and we all got together like that. Okay, fine. But if there are people that I am in more than one photo with from like different times, like different events, I know that person. Now, I may still distance myself from that person, but you may certainly come and ask me questions, and I am certainly going to have an opinion about that person. So what is it? What are they saying here?
They're not giving me, there are approximately 5 to 10 verified unique photos and 1 verified video, 1992 NBC footage of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein, based on credible sources. Claims of 67 to 76 are not supported.
So at least 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. So I'm going to say we're going to put Trump in the camp of a Jeffrey Epstein good acquaintance at worst, or at best. At best, he's a good acquaintance. So can someone explain to me how Trump has not come out and given in any information other than calling him a creep? All right. You want to ask me questions about people that I have been in pictures with? I may not know them that well, but I'll give you my best guess. I'll give you, because here's the thing. If I've been in pictures with them, then I know people who do know that person very well. Interestingly enough, I know people that know Donald Trump. Leah and I know people and count people as very good acquaintances who have direct access to President Trump. So you're telling, who are we? 2 girls in Ohio. And I can't count the amount of friends that I have who have met Donald Trump and taken pictures with Donald Trump, who Donald Trump knows their names. I'm talking about, like, I know people who, if they needed to talk to the president, they could get him on the phone. All right? And I'm in Ohio. So you're going to tell me that Donald Trump doesn't know anything about Jeffrey Epstein's acquaintances or people that... No, I'm going to tell you the reason why this list hasn't come out. Because Donald Trump is smack dab in the middle of this circle of people. Now, I'm not saying that Donald Trump went to the island, and I'm not saying that Donald Trump had anything to do with these little girls, because frankly, I don't think that he did. And that's my honest opinion. I do not think that Trump went to the island, and I do not think that Trump is complicit in having had little girls trafficked to him. Do you know why I think that? He's smarter than that.
So here's a few pictures.
Okay. But what I am saying is he is smack dab in the middle of this story, and he knows way, way, way more than he is telling. So, okay, excuse me. This picture right here, there's Ghislaine, you can't see. Behind the couch, it looks like. And I don't know who these young people are. They look like they're over 18. We'll assume that they are.
They look pretty young.
They look very, very young, though. And Donald Trump is smiling. And Jeffrey Epstein is there. So here Trump is at one of these parties of some sort. So you're telling me Trump doesn't know anything about what's going on here? So here's a whole series of photos. So this is a lot more than 5 or 6. Leah, by the way, now we can lump together the pink tie ones.
10 is what it was.
The pink tie ones are all going to be at one event. Okay. We've got one here with a blue tie. That's a separate event. So that's 2 events. Here's one with Ghislaine. That's a different tie. That's 3 events.
He's with Ghislaine a lot more. And I guess with the fake wig of Ghislaine here, Melania knows her really well.
Here's a red tie one. So we're looking at a minimum of 5 to 6 separate events with these sets of pictures here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
14.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 11 times.
Try that math again, because
Finn.
6 and 8. There's 8 little pictures and 6 other pictures.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
12.
Well, these are the same outfit.
Oh, okay. You're taking no, but the pink tie. Oh, you're counting the different instances. I thought you were counting the amount of pictures. Okay.
No, I was counting the different instances. That's
Okay.
11
Yeah.
times he's with Ghislaine, and that's a lot of times.
Yeah.
So if you scroll down, this is this weird video that it's really weird.
Epstein his personal attention. Trump is seen talking to Epstein and another man as women are dancing in front of them. Trump alternates between dancing and pointing out women to Epstein and the other man, and then Trump says something else into Epstein's ear that makes him double over with laughter.
That's really funny.
I can't. And he's looking at the girls. We always know he was a womanizer, but when it's in connection with Epstein, it's no good.
Kimberly says, Kira and I always say, stop touching things. Will says, Jesus Freak Jen says, do you think his family was threatened? Do I think that the Trump family was threatened and that's why he's keeping this a secret? I'm not going to put that outside of a possibility. But at this point, you've been shot at. Supposedly, that was not a setup. I'm not saying whether it was or wasn't. So you've been shot at. You've been tried in court. All of these things. And now you're afraid because your family's been threatened by people. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. So, you know, all these bigger names threatening Trump. Like, I just don't buy that. Like this larger than life bit from Trump. I don't, but it could be. I doubt it. I really just think that it's...
So
I think it is what it seems.
Ron Paul does a video today, and I can't believe this man is still going. He's going to have like a 94-year-old birthday party you can go to if you want to.
Jim says, where's the list, Pam?
In a bizarre day in which we learned that there actually is no Epstein client list after being promised its release, Trump one-upped his hapless administration and announced that he was turning his back on one of the most important planks of his platform, Ukraine. And with Netanyahu at his side, he announced that he would be sending weapons to Ukraine after all, and that he is ending sanctions on al-Qaeda-ruled Syria at the request of the Israeli prime minister. And today, the U.S. is spending $1.5 billion building military bases in Israel.
You didn't retweet it?
No, I
How
didn't.
am I supposed to find it?
I'm just reading it.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
need to find
we're
it.
not gonna play it.
No, but like that's like not okay.
Right. No, it's not okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
Guys, I hate to be so, fervent about this stuff, but I guess like I said, I am just angry for the people that have been trusting in that was the thing. This was their thing. Leah, what's this? Can I play this from Fox News?
Well,
no.
I have to explain it. It has nothing to do with Epstein.
Oh, okay, then that's fine.
Okay.
No. I don't want to end this, and we're going to end this in a second. I don't want to end this on some sort of big, like, giant, like, angry, upset, whatever show. And like I said, I'm never going to come to you guys and say, oh, I told you so. Like, that's not it. I'm still just hurt for you guys because I already came out of it and I had to deal with my own hurt. Okay. Of buying into the lies. I would say this, as painful, and I do think that this is a word from God, so you take this as you will. I'm not going to come and say, thus says the Lord, but it feels like as it's coming to me that this is a word from the Lord. What I've been hoping for is for people to see what I've been praying for on this show. You guys have heard me pray that these liars, whoever they are, not just the Donald Trump and the administration and his handlers and all these people around him, just whoever it is, these liars that are perpetuating this false idolatry of Trump, keeping people with their heads in the sand, that they would all be exposed for who they are, that their masks would come off, that they would end up taking their masks off, and that people would see with their own eyes the man behind the curtain. And I've been praying that. So I feel like the Lord is saying right now that he's saying, guys, please be encouraged, because the masks are coming off and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And that's what I would say to our nation. And that's what I would say to America. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I spent 3 years, Leah and I spent 3 years, give or take, Leah waking up before I did, under an illusion and a delusion and a spell cast by somebody, thinking that they were someone that they weren't. But you don't ever want to be cast under a spell. I feel so free now. I feel so free now. And I feel like I can be myself again. And I would say that Trump is the epitome, and the Trump larger than life system is the epitome of what we see. And tonight was supposed to be a healing for the fractured soul, of what we see when people manipulate your mind.
Yes.
Because they're trying to use you and abuse you and keep you underneath their little cup, in their little prison, or their bird in their cage. Okay. That they just keep giving you treats. Oh, aren't you so happy to be my little birdie in my cage? They want you. Sorry, we have a dog that is licking her foot and it sounds really gross. I don't know if you can hear that on camera. But the birds are starting to fly free again. And today, a lot of birdies flew free. And we read posts from a lot of them. And that makes me happy. Yeah. And that makes God's heart happy. When you wake up to the fact that you've been taken by a cult. It's painful, but in the end, it feels good and it feels right. Okay.
I got one more here.
So I feel like the word from the Lord is right now that this is actually a very good thing.
It is very good.
That has
very,
happened.
very, very good.
Let me read this comment from Sherry. Those Trump photos with Epstein were when Trump was much younger. That is why Trump is able to say that Epstein was a terrible person. As an elderly man, I believe that Trump regrets. I don't think you mean man. Oh, as an elderly man. Sherry, you're not an elderly man. She means Trump as an elderly man. I believe that he regrets and wants no part of that evil life, but Trump also does not want that past life to be associated with him now. He must just come clean and admit his part in it. That was well said. All right, let's screen share. Leah says she's got one more. Where do I find it?
I just retweeted it.
Okay.
Cash, who is ever the narcissist, constantly wearing his own t-shirt or his own pen. Why? Why though? What makes him so special to have his own?
Well, his last name is Cash, and I think it's a play on words.
But why is he promoting himself wherever he goes? Why does he wear his own pen?
You know, I think about it all the time. So, like,
if I just wear a Resistance Chicks pen,
we don't have any Resistance Chicks gear, or I would wear it. Like, if I had Resistance Chicks sweatshirts, I'm wearing them. If I had a Resistance Chicks hat, I'm wearing it. I just haven't had time to add it to the list of things.
What makes him so awesome to have all these things?
I don't know, because we're Resistance Chicks, and Cash is just one person.
So who has Jeffrey Epstein?
For the podcast listeners, this is from December 13th, 2023.
Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
No volume.
But who?
I'm not plugged in.
That is, that I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Just like the manifesto from the Nashville school shooting of the Catholic school. Yeah. We still haven't seen that, right? It's not the Nashville police or PD saying we don't want this out. The FBI airmailed into that operation and said, this is not getting out. Because they do that because this is another government gangster operation. All these local law enforcement communities get funding from the DOJ and FBI for local programs. And if you don't cooperate, you're not getting your $1 million for this, and you're not getting and that's a lot of money to these local districts. That's how they play the game. That's why you don't have a Black Book. Or the manifesto.
But the Black Book, it's not just sitting, I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the Black Book. And not just that. On day one, roll out All of the text messaging communications we were told were deleted. On day one, play the rest of the video of the pipe bomber. On day, one of the reforms I talk about in government gangsters is you need a central node to be continuously declassifying. This is another thing they do. They overclassify. And I'm telling you, as a former number 2 in the IC, they overclassify 50% of the stuff there to protect the deep state. Oh no, you can't see that. Nothing to see here. Gina was a master at it, of doing it. And we still haven't seen half of the Russiagate report that we wrote. Still under lock and key. On how the ICA was originally constructed. We put 10,000 man-hours against John Brennan's team that did it. And we found out why they came up with their bogus conclusion. But we couldn't sell it to the world because we couldn't talk about it, and the government gangsters came in and buried it. All of these things, there needs to be a continuing central power, whether it's the White House or offsite, that says every request that comes in, just right out the door, as long as it's not a major threat to national security.
Amazing, Cash. Wouldn't that be so awesome if you had been able to be the person you just said you were? Amazing. He's lying. Liar.
18 months
liar,
ago,
liar.
Kash Patel said there was a list and Bill Gates is on it, and that he was lobbying the government not to disclose it. There you have it.
So why was he lobbying that Bill Gates was lobbying the government to not disclose it? So here it comes again. Kash Patel, and this is what I would say about Pam Bondi. Or not Pam Bondi, I keep wanting to say Bannon Alabed too. What's her name? Alina, whatever, Trump's lawyer. We just played at the start of the show. She comes out and says, the list, it's going to expose all these people and it's got da-da-da-da. Kash Patel comes out and essentially says all this unequivocal stuff like, there is a list. I know these people's names are on it. The FBI has it. The director of the FBI has direct access, whether they can, release it or not. You're the director now, Kash. So here's what I'm saying. Either Kash was lying about what he knew, which makes him a blowhard, and making himself out to, I know stuff. I know things because I'm telling you unequivocally. You can listen to me because I know stuff because I was in the ICA. Excuse me? And same thing with this little lawyer. Her Botox and chest hanging out in half her videos and fawning all over Andrew Tate. She's coming out, there's this list. And yeah, it's going to be released. And these people, they're going to have to have their day in court and all this, that, and the other. She said that to Pierce stinking Morgan. Do you really know the things that you say that you know? Or are you lying to everyone and that makes you a liar? But either way, you're a liar because now you're coming out and covering for the fact that there's no there. MAGA was so disillusioned today, it's not even funny. And that breaks my heart. And I am not happy about it because it hurts me for you people. But please know that being awake is better than being asleep. I'm going to read a couple of comments here. Sherry says, I want a Resistance Chicks t-shirt. That's literally, remember how I did the video this week and I said, here's how you need to do your 4 columns. Things you got to do like right now has to happen today.
Anybody
things that can be pushed,
good at
things that can go. This is the 4th column, Sherry, but it's there.
Or something. It's there. We have so many great t-shirt ideas, and then they go in my head, and then they leave.
They don't ever leave my head. I think about them, and I get excited about them.
Obviously, it's not just a conspiracy
I actually was
theory
just
if it's not
thinking
just
about t-shirts a couple of days ago because I love mailing out the products. The best way I can do this, I have a way that I could roll out t-shirts next week. Okay. And there's a program that we can go through and everybody uses it. We would make next to no money on that, which is fine. I don't even care. I don't need to make any money on it. But I actually like hand packaging stuff. So I was thinking and mailing it to you guys. So I would love to have a store where you receive our products. And then I can also put the t-shirts and the hats and the fanny packs and all that in there. I don't know how to even make that happen. So that's on the back burner. Nana Yaffa says, tomorrow is my born again birthday, July 9th, 1989. I have realized that much of my life has been a lie. The only truth I know is Jesus Christ. Well, happy birthday to you, Nana Yaffa. That is amazing. Chris says, me too, Sherry. 7 Ann says, Nana, my born again was September of 1989. Well, that's the same year. That's awesome. Sherry says, I'm sorry. Patel is talking out of both sides of his mouth. That's awesome. She says he is about tickling our ears, but we've got his number. He is a pansy, the cover-up guy. I think you mean Patsy. Well, no, pansy would be correct, actually. Lana over on YouTube says, amen, Michelle. I think they all follow a script. Very well said. Haba, is that her name? Amy says, so Cash is now the director of the FBI, so where's the evidence? That's what I'm asking, Amy. That's what I want to know. Merck says, I'm sorry, but I simply don't trust any one of the people in positions of power. None. Over on Getter, and I'm so glad that you guys are here on Getter, watching here tonight, and you guys are amazing, and so please follow us on Getter if you're over there. Mike says, we need to face it. This reaction by Trump's administration is a cover-up, and Trump knows it. Imagine if Elon comes out and says he'll expose all as his party promise. Exactly. Well, that's what the party promise was with Trump. MAGA Nation says, first time watching, really great show. Thank you. That's awesome. To rock or not to row. That's funny. No, we're not going to allow those young women's abuse to be relegated to hearsay. Or you mean heresy? Hearsay. Yeah. So Mark says November 20th, 1991. Everybody's got their Christian birthdays. You guys are amazing. Sherry says, no, Michelle, you have to make money on the t-shirts you're tent building. Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll figure that out. In all of our spare time, we're going to make that happen. I have a new, because we are tent makers, one of the things that I have to do is work on our Heavenly Pet Sitting website. That's going to take precedent over Resistance Chick stuff, unfortunately. And Kimberly Vinzel says, but Trump never admits that he did anything wrong.
So when's the end of the sale for the...
Okay, so that's the end of the show. You may tune out from here on out. No, don't do that because I have some announcements.
We're going to play the commercial that the boys made for the deodorant.
And we're going to make our cut of it because it's like 6 minutes long.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
We'll end with that. And I'm going to tell you something about the deodorant. Will you hand me the deodorant, please?
I will hand you the chick
So today, why was I late for the show? I was so disgusting today. I mean, I enjoy summer. I was thinking about how awesome heat is. I love being outside. I love the heat. What's even more awesome is if you have like a mold-free basement that's nice and cold. Fortunately, we got a dehumidifier.
We have a mold-free basement.
Yeah. It used to be nice and cool down here, but that's besides the point.
We have 3 deep freezers, and I'm trying to convince Leah that I want to move them under our carport outside.
But we still run the dehumidifier. If you have a dehumidifier that does not produce heat, please tell me. That'd be really awesome. But anyways, so I'm outside today, and we made a video of us using our pole saw.
I haven't shared it anywhere. It's only on Facebook right now.
So it's on Facebook. It's really fun. And I was just, between the dogs and the heat and all the things, I was so sweaty. And
you were
icky.
covered in sawdust.
And in between running around, I hadn't put any deodorant on today. I don't actually need to put my deodorant on every day. It just kind of continues.
It's like every other day, every couple days.
So, but today I came in and I was like, oh.
For the first time?
B.O. I'm smelling myself.
Yep.
And
so this is why you were late to the show?
No. I took a shower.
You swam
That's why
first.
I was late.
No, you swam first.
And I took a shower.
And then you took a shower.
But before all of that, and I had to go do errands, took my deodorant. Now, I'm going to tell you how to use this.
You can open it and show them. It's fine.
Okay. So, oh, shoot. It didn't come out very good.
Put
it in your refrigerator for a minute.
I've been meaning to make that
before
as a suggestion.
You open the lid.
The lid will come off normally. Otherwise, you're going to have to be using your finger to get that out.
But I just use it. Just use it. Okay. It's great. So you just use this, but you can go like this. Okay.
You can, but you get too much on there.
So then what you do is I'm going to give you a demonstration. Okay. You only need a little bit.
Show them how much you didn't even show them. It's it's smaller than a pea.
Okay.
Literally
you want
smaller than a pea.
Rub it into your arms. Now I'm going to tell you what I did. Look how much that I didn't use anything. Okay. So we're going to put this. Oh, geez, dropping things. It smells really good with the lid on. If you keep the lid off, you won't really have
Who keeps
scent.
the lid off their deodorant?
I do. So I come in, I smell so bad.
Okay.
And I don't wash my underarms because I want to do an experiment. I just put my deodorant on.
That's weird.
It's gone.
Instantly?
It's an experiment. Both arms. And I wanted to do a show you guys a sniff test and be like, oh my gosh, this really smells. Okay. Because
then you could be lying like Trump and all the people. What if you're not telling the truth?
But I tell the truth because I was like, wow, it's odor neutralizing is what it is. You're not going to have an overwhelming scent of any scent. Okay.
That's why it's for men and women. Tea tree oil and lavender is what you're smelling when you take the lid off. Those are very powerful essential oils.
If you would like to smell good, then you would, as a female or a male, what I was also doing in the hospital with Uncle Beanie was I was using the Healing for the Soul combined with deodorant, and I was making myself, I just wanted to smell good while I was there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I did to smell good.
You know what I did when I was in the hospital?
The Armor of God.
So I took, you know how like you used to like wash your face in cold water?
Yeah.
To like refresh yourself.
Yeah.
So when Uncle Jack was in the hospital multiple times a day, I just took a pump of this beard oil and I just put it on my face.
So
and it felt refreshing. It smelled refreshing. It felt like my face just like, okay, I'm back to being human again.
I can recommend that you use the Armor of God a little bit on your underarms.
It's so both of the Armor of God. So the Armor of God beard and body butter, the Armor of God beard oil, and the Armor of God essential oil blend are all designed to help boost testosterone and balance your endocrine system. Okay. That's a huge deal.
And I have been using the beard oil because I don't know
if you
guys
need to shake it more than that.
I don't know if you guys know that a beard is actual male hair. It's hair. So I've actually been using it on the tips of my hair
for health
and to help me because my hair, as I don't know, the past year or so,
so Leah lost 85% of her hair.
It's been really
so it's been trying to grow
and
back.
really hard to brush through. So I've been using this and actually a little bit of the body butter to
nice,
so that I can. It's like a detangler.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's how I've been using things.
Speaking of the body butters, Dentist Sherry had asked a good question on the show the other day, so I want to reiterate it here tonight. I'm figuring out the website's a little bit of a challenge to figure out all the options that I can make available for you guys because I'm doing all of it. So not only are we making the products, not only are we shipping the products, not only are we selling you the products, ding, on our show, but I'm also managing the website. So we're wearing a lot of hats here at Resistance Chicks. So she asked, Michelle, if we want to, I do have it set that if you want to buy multiples of the body butters, you get a discount. So if you want to buy multiples of each one, like let's say you want to buy a tallow and the Armor of God and the lard one, and you still want to get the discount, just purchase 3 of one. And then put there's a note section in the cart when you go to checkout and just tell me you want one of each. I read every single note. So a lot of you guys leave notes that are like really encouraging and I love that. Some of you guys will ask very specific things. Can you do this? Can you make this color eye pillow? Can you combine this, that, or the other? And I am happy to accommodate you guys as best as I possibly can. Feel free to shoot me emails if you wanted, like, if you're like, I feel like this should be a combo deal. I can shoot me an email. I'll give you a deal, whatever. If you're buying like multiples of like something like, you know, that I don't have available, you know, to do that with. So please, I want to be able to make this a really fun experience for you guys. It's a fun experience for me to make all of your
and I've
packages.
had such a crazy week.
She asked me for, she lost her eye pillow. She texted me at like 2 in the morning.
Please bring me another eye pillow.
So you know what I did? She said, can you give me another eye pillow? So I came down here and I had one of the Paisley ones down here in the studio. And I took it to her and she texted me the next morning. She's like, thank you for my eye pillow. And I left it on her thing. I can't sleep without mine now. I use it every single night. It helps you fall asleep. You can use it in the microwave. They're still on sale. So after the 4th of July sale, that deal of when you buy 2 or more eye pillows, you save $10. That's ending. That is going to end.
Each.
You save $10 each. So it's like I wanted to make them buy one, get one. But again, I couldn't figure out how to do buy one, get one. So a lot of these you have to buy a plug-in. And these plugins are like $50. So I have to buy a $50 plugin to be able to give you guys buy one, get one free. And so that's why I'm trying to go around it. So that's why it's buy 2 or more, you save $10 a piece. But anyway, I love the eye pillows. I've used these for years. So right now we are still running our sale. 1776 is your promo code. You'll save 10%. And remember, the more you buy of things, the more you save. I've got bundles of a lot of things already on the website. And I am going to make this announcement. I know that scarcity makes things sell. So I don't really want to say this out loud, but I'm going to say it anyway. We have 2 Founders Bibles left. Somebody ordered one yesterday and they wanted it inscribed by Leah and I. And we did the inscription today. It's going to go out in the mail tomorrow. When these 2 Bibles are done, we're not going to sell Founders Bibles anymore. Okay. Not that we're done with Founders Bibles. It's just like, I'm not going to call up Brad Cummings and have to pay $500 to $800 to get a case of Bibles shipped to me and then resell them to you guys. So there, if you wanted and have wanted a Founder's Bible from us, scarcity, here it comes. There's 2 left. So get it now, or you're going to have to go to thefoundersbible.com, which you can still use our promo code. It'll save you 20%. We don't make any money on that because I think Brad was going to pay us. He paid us one time and he never did. So it's just for you guys. Save 20%, use promo code Resistance Chicks at thefoundersbible.com. And that's for always, right? You always can use that deal. As a matter of fact, when this sale is over, there's no rush. You'll save more money by using promo code Resistance Chicks on our website. That applies only to the Founders Bible, but you'll still save that 20%. But the sale is going midnight Pacific time on Thursday. 1776 is the promo code you want to use. And the last announcement that I have, well, okay, I have 2 more announcements. I love sending the emails. I'm going to try to start sending more emails. I sent out 2 this week. One announcing the sale and putting the video of the Taylor Boys made in the email. I think I sent that out yesterday. So I sent out my very first ever sale only email. Never done that before.
The Taylor Boys say that this works on acne and
bug bites. So anyway, I would like for you guys to sign up to our emails. I can see how many people opened the emails. I can't see who you are, but I can see how many people open the emails, and we get a lot of opens. I'm very thankful for that. Sometimes we get unsubscribers, kind of hurts my feelings. So if you're going to unsubscribe to my email, then don't even sign up for my email. Okay. But if you would like to hear from us occasionally, then you can go to resistancechicks.com and click on join the resistance and sign up for our emails. Like, I love sending them, and I love putting the compilation of the week things. Like, it's all personal to me, and it's personal that you guys are getting them. And I love to see how many people have opened them, and it's super exciting. So please sign up for our emails if you promise not to unsubscribe unless we offend you at some point. So that's the other announcement. And last but not least, this past week, a week ago tomorrow, we had Corey Gray on our show for our 100th episode of Revelation Red Pill. I don't know if Corey's coming back tomorrow or not. We haven't talked to him. I know Leah talked about having him. We'll get him back on at some point, whether it's tomorrow or another time. But because it was our 100th episode, we have made diplomas. And they're available on shop.resistancechicks.com. Put diploma in the search bar. If you have watched between at least 50 or 100, there's 2 options there. Episodes of Revelation Red Pill, give or take, cut yourself some slack. It just means and give yourself some grace. Please get the diploma.
And you're just basically paying shipping.
Yes, the shipping was a little bit more than, and so I had to make it $5. I wanted to make it free. I couldn't, but that's besides the point. Go and get your diploma. We're not making any money on it. I just am excited to find out how many people actually qualify for the diplomas. Like, one of the viewers, I hope Sherry doesn't mind me calling out her name. She's like, I'm pretty much just ordering this to let you know that I'm here and to let you know that I've tuned in. And she ordered a 100 episode diploma. So hers is going to be the first that goes out. Kimberly Venzel, yours is going to be the second that goes out. And it just makes me happy to send these out. It's like, I'm super, super excited about it. So don't feel stupid. Like, please, because I want to hear from you if you qualify for 50 or 100 episodes of Revelation Red Pill. Like, that's amazing.
You said that you found boxes that you could send product with.
I do. So if you want to make an order, the shipping will all combine. So your diploma shipping and the order will go, but I'm going to wait to send your order until my embosser comes.
I am big on like shipping. I like free shipping. Yeah. I like low cost
shipping.
So
while you're there making your diploma order, if you want to order anything else, then all that shipping goes in the same thing. So
yeah.
All right, Chris says, you are loved by so many people that it really shouldn't matter. Don't let the haters hurt your feelings. Thank you. That's amazing. Kimberly Benzel says, woot. So anyway, shop.resistancechicks.com. We have a slew of products. I don't even know. I can't hit them all. What I want to do moving forward is I kind of want to do like a featured product every week or once a month or something like that, and do like a sale on that specific product. Like buy a body butter, get one half off or something like that, just to kind of keep it fun and keep it alive. So we'll do that moving forward. Mark says, will the beard oil help stop the rapid graying going on with my beard? Kidding. He says, gosh, I totally will buy the beard oil. I need it. Okay, Mark, you need to go to my website. I can't. Here's the funny thing about that. I've been doing some research, and Leah and I have had discussions, and she keeps telling me, let's not do it. And I want to do it. I want to do it so bad. Have you heard of shampoo bars? I saw this shampoo bar the other day that works on graying hair, and it wasn't like fake. It was like legit. And so I told Leah, I said, why don't we look up that, not that specific, I don't want to steal it, but look up, there's a couple of natural products that help to reverse graying. And I said, let's make a shampoo bar. Like, I would love to have a shampoo bar, right? And it's just one of those things, the fourth column. and all the list of things. If you didn't watch my video the other day about you can't do it all, go watch it.
If you get the beard oil, I highly recommend you get the Armor of God to go with it, because you, as any man, I love this smell. It's my favorite smell. I
And it's
love.
really good. It's really
we
nice.
worked so hard. It's testosterone building, by the way, endocrine.
But it's good for women, especially like if you're not in your like late teens, early 20s, even women can use a boost of testosterone.
But I highly recommend it for men as a cologne replacement, because it is a cologne. It is a bona fide, beautiful cologne. It smells like man. It smells like outdoors. It smells woodsy. It's aromatic. It's legit.
No, it's
we
nice.
worked so hard, and when we hit on these tones, it was so fun to do. I was like, this smells like man. Go for it. And the fact that these are not just scents, these are essential oils.
Everything
that
is
do
designed to feed
something.
your body and feed your system.
But and
help
then
heal.
most
Yeah.
of those oils are in the Armor of God beard
the
and
top
face
10
oil.
The top 10 are in there, the most
Yeah.
important ones. Sherry Kula says, okay, I will order the diploma. I watched all 100 plus many more than once. See, that's what I'm talking about, Sherry. I know you think you don't need it's not for you that I want you to order the diploma. It's for me so that I can hand it out because it makes me feel good. She says, plus the Thayer's videos. And so she even watched the Thayer's videos when they did them, which is super awesome. Freckles99 says, Trump isn't addressing the elephant in the room. So sick of him dancing around the issues that American people want addressed.
Talk about the elephant, Trump.
Talk about the elephant, Trump. All right, we're going to sign off. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are amazing. Shop.resistancechicks.com. Use promo code 1776 until midnight on Thursday. That's the 10th.
And
So
if
get
you
2 more
want
days.
to write your letters to us, because I know a lot of you guys have a lot of thoughts, you
Yeah.
can send them to us. P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150.
We haven't gotten like a good testimony letter in a while. So
we've got some emails.
To get you to tune in to Friday, we do have a mail call that we will be opening a package from Todd. Todd, we're going to wait to open your package on Friday. And we have a testimony that I finally got permission to share, which you guys are not going to want to miss. Super excited about it, that I'm going to read from an email on Friday. So I'm really excited about that. So we will see you guys tomorrow night for Revelation Red Pill. Not sure if Corey's coming on or what Leah's plan is, but it'll be a great show. Probably 8:30 through summer. Just count on that. I'll try to not make them 8:45 shows, but I just know Leah, and she's pretty much made a switch in her head that shows are going to be at 8:30. And probably the same thing for Friday shows. So maybe adjust your schedule accordingly. I don't like to have to make a post every time our show's going to be late. So maybe just plan on late.
trying. We had a lot of pet visits at a certain time, and then today, just a lot of stuff.
Mark
we
says,
did.
Michelle, I don't use antiperspirant, and I'm always looking for a decent, subtle deodorant. Boom, we got you covered, Mark. Mark's been with us like for so many years, it's not even funny. Mark's been with us since the beginning, I want to say. Okay, we'll see you guys next time right here from resistancechicks.com. You're amazing, and I pray that God blesses you the rest of this week. Be encouraged. I believe that this is all happening for a reason. It's so great to have people waking up. God is going to use this to expose the tyrants and expose those that are trying to hide behind this. And I believe it's going to be worse for those people now because this has happened, and certainly not better. So Leah wants me to end with this commercial, which I did not download.
Your chipmunk one.
I know, but I have to actually go to it to play it for them to be able to watch it.
Okay.
So we've uploaded a lot of videos in the past couple of days. So by all means, don't just tune in for the live ones. Go and check out what we've been uploading. A couple of shorts, a couple of little fun things, in addition to our regular kind of longer live shows. Let's see, not live videos. Here we go. I'm over here on YouTube. The Chickmunks React, greatest deodorant commercial ever. What happened was I wanted y'all to see this commercial. And I wanted you to see our reaction to the commercial. So why not make it a chickmunk? It's not that funny. The chickmunk part isn't as funny as normal chickmunks, but I couldn't just upload it in regular voice because that's just dumb, right? So here we go. The Taylor family literally made a commercial. Oh, I mean, I'm in the wrong window. Literally made a commercial for our deodorant because they were telling us that it was working for all these extra things, including bug bites. So that's what it is. You will see Joy the pig. She's on the she's our featured mascot here, and you will see the Perfume de Jesus deodorant drawn. I mean, it's so amazing what they did here. So I'm going to make this screen really, really big here once we get this playing. So hang on.
Our friend Christine was like, it's leaving a streak. And I'm like, you're using too much. You just actually, it's in the stick, but you don't really need to. okay? Like just a little bit goes a long
Little
way.
dab will do you. I
Then
don't
you
need
just
to do a
and you rub
video.
it in, like
I don't know how many people want to watch Michelle apply deodorant, but literally, I'm taking the tiniest little swipe and I'm giving it a good
And it
little rub
really
in.
works. It's
Done.
an odor neutralizer is what it is,
Yes.
and it lasts forever. It's like and so you're not going to go through the sticks like you would from the store. So it's like 2 or 3 sticks
It
in
lasts forever, and I love, like, just the other day, somebody bought 4 of them at one time. They've already bought some, and then they bought 4 more. The deodorant is probably one of the things that kind of cracks, and the soap. The soap and the deodorant oftentimes get bought, like, in bulk, and then it cracks me up.
Here, I'm going to just
I'm
tell
like,
you.
how much do y'all need to be clean and, like, not stinky? Which
These
I love.
are
I think it's
things
great.
that we-
She says, I love the deodorant. Oh, she says, you have to rub in the deodorant.
You have to rub it in.
Yes.
You have to rub it in.
You do.
But here's the thing. It doesn't build up if you rub it in.
Right.
Okay? But if you let it sit there, it can get a little crusty. So just...
It's not crusty. It'll
on
just
your
maybe
clothes.
it'll get on your clothes. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want to... But when it
But what's
soaks into
amazing
your
is
body,
that your body eats it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I don't have any issues when I rub it in.
right.
But like with all deodorants, it can build up if you just let it sit there on top of your skin.
So speaking of the deodorant, so the Taylor family made a video
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
And wanted us to record our watching of it.
Oh my.
So why don't we, since we're speaking of this, Leah, if we have time, wait, that's not what I want to do. I don't know how much of in a hurry we are.
We've got a few minutes.
All right, so let me go grab this link really quickly. And we will, that way we can do this and you guys can be a part of it too. So they made a video, they call it the Chick Stick, which I think is hilarious and adorable. And for those of you that don't know, the Taylor family are part of the Resistance Chicks family. And the youth, I will call them, because I'm not sure if Cabry's involved. So the 3 boys and Cabry do really fun videos. So we're going to pull this up, and it's called Mosquito Bite Deodorant Cream. I've not watched this. This is my screen sharing. Hang on. There we
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Wait. Oh, stop it. No, they didn't. No. This is one sucking mosquito. The mosquito has just gotten squashed. Is that what that was? Okay, this is so much work.
If only there was a way to take away the itch with natural ingredients only.
Little one,
No,
do
they
I
didn't.
solution for my affliction? I must be off to make the joint tangles tomorrow.
It's deodorant. Since when does deodorant help with mosquito bites?
When pigs fly.
Okay, that's valid.
1 minute later. Oh, so
That was legit. What did I just watch? That was awesome. That was so great.
What was that? That was
so
like a high level commercial.
Now I'm going to pay them money to be my commercial makers.
The artistry on that, like the detail, like Joy the Pig looked like Joy the Pig.
And all the voices coming in.
I am so
Oh
impressed.
my
Like, no, but here's the deal.
gosh.
Like that, somebody would take that and turn that into like that's how they make like the Charmin commercials. Like
Yeah.
that was just as good as any other
100%.
as any professional
But
advertiser.
did you hear the bling?
Yes, no,
Joy
I
the
heard it
Pig
all.
Showed up in the
I know.
flare.
And then she was flying.
She was flying.
They actually had her flying. Like this was old school animation.
Oh my gosh.
The high level intelligence. These boys have missed their climb. But here's the thing. They, Lord Jesus helped them to apply these talents for the kingdom. Because I tell you what, that right there, without even going to
so good.
without even going to animation school or advertising school, you boys have just done it.
Like,
You
that's
have done
legit.
it. You have done a commercial, like a high level.
I want to know how long it took you guys to do that. Because, like, each scene was drawn out. Like, how do you draw every scene like that? Like, did you storyboard it? Like,
They
you
had to
plan it
storyboard it,
out?
yeah. They had to
Like, write a
storyboard it.
script?
Well, I'm going to give Christine props because I'm going to say that's some epic homeschooling right there.
Okay, let me read some comments. Sherry Kula says, love, love, love the deodorant. Rub it in. It really works. Sherry, the dentist says, LOL. That's a lot of time to draw all of that. I love it. Chris says, awesome artwork and creativity.
We will be playing that.
Gosh. Yeah. Oh, you're going to see that again.
Over and over again.
You're
going to
see
end our
it again.
shows with that. We're gonna end our show for the next couple weeks with that as an advertisement.
That's the greatest.
They said it also works on acne too.
So they've been using. So for those of you I've missed it. The deodorant, they've been using it on mosquito bites, and they're saying that it helps with mosquito bites, which is amazing.
I'm gonna have to try
here's the Perfume de Jesus. Here's our deodorant, aka the Chick Stick. Maybe the next time I order tags, which I have plenty ordered already, but if I ever do order more tags, I will put that on there. I'll make that as an option. Or maybe you should make a different scent that you call the Chick Stick. I don't know. That's amazing. You guys, hands down, super props. I did not think... So a lot of times they'll do actual acting with their bodies. And so that's what I expected. So I didn't expect something like that level of the art and all of that.
Professional quality advertisement.
No, that was super amazing. Samuel says, I'm still enjoying the Armor of God beard oil. That's awesome. Thank you, Samuel. That's really helpful. Super, super helpful. Okay, so Taylor family, you get 8,000 thumbs up for that.
So props for that.
I want Pam Bondi